Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. It is a wonderful, wonderful day. Today's Sunday, March the 3rd, and I tell you, I've enjoyed every minute of this day. I've enjoyed every minute of this beautiful day, Sunday. It's been a glorious day, a happy day for me, and I am just, I'm just filled with joy. How about you all? Oh, it is wonderful, a wonderful day to be alive. Opposition. Listen, when I say opposition, you all need to say fall in line. All right. So wherever you are, I see you all on. Oh my goodness, a lot of people are on already. Oh my goodness. Remeem, what? Remeem logged on from, listen, she was ready from 1 o'clock today. Ramim, she says, loyal, patriotic opposition, stay focused, avoid petty arguments and party politics long enough to call poor practices wastage and abuse by those in authority. That's what I'm talking about, Ramim. That's what you see. You're a loyal opposition. You are a son and a daughter, a loyal son and daughter of this land here. Yes, so I'm going to give the call out again. And when I say opposition, wherever you are, if you're in your car and you're listening, if you're at home on your bed, wherever in your, some people put the show up on their TV. Wherever you are listening to, everybody going to say fall in line. So here we go. Opposition, fall in line. There you go. I know you said it. We're falling in line, guys, because it's a movement. It's a movement. Are we not tired yet? Anybody tired yet? Anybody tired yet? No, we're not tired yet. We're not tired yet. This journey has just begun. This journey has just begun. Don't you get tired? Don't you get weary, Heathcliff? Yes, yes. It says, I eagerly await the show. She's on from 158 waiting. Loyal daughter 66. Hello. Good evening, loyal opposition. Keep on keeping on. This is the time to keep the pressure on. Do not let up. Change is a coming. Freedom is ours. Keep on keeping on. Opposition, fall in line. I tell you, we don't give up. We don't give up. We don't give up. Tracy Barrow, good evening, everyone. All I can say is this is Lent and the devil is a liar. Stay focused and steady for the course. Yes, some things are coming at us, people. Some things are coming at us trying to throw some fog our way and create all kinds of things happening in the atmosphere. And because we must understand also that this battle is also spiritual. And we have Apostle Breedy. She's coming on at 7:15. She's going to be joining us, and she's going to let that be very, very clear. You're going to hear some things that's happening to Apostle Breedy. So I'm going to ask you to share. I'm going to send her the link so she can share as well. But listen, I need you all to share. I'm giving you a moment to share because you don't want to miss this one. You don't want to miss this one, okay? I know some of you come on and say, "Oh, to my church people," but listen. Everything is about God. All right, whether you go to church or you don't go to church, the fact that you're alive, yeah, it's spiritual. Yeah, so you might not say you're a Christian, you might say I'm a spiritual person. You connect to something higher. This movement and this battle, there's a spiritual element to it, and your expression of the spiritual part of you might be different. Yeah, and that's okay. There's room for everybody. Yeah. Clive Osborne, good night to all the loyal sons and daughters of this mighty opposition. Staying confident that change is inevitable as long as they acknowledge that we are not asleep. Oh, wow, that is profound. Clive, Clive, that's profound. As long as they acknowledge that we are not asleep. Listen, y'all better share. I was sharing and then I got distracted with Clive. Clive, you got me there. That is deep. As long as they acknowledge as long as they acknowledge, oh yes, that we are not asleep. Barbados is not asleep. I don't care what they throw at us. Barbados is not asleep. If they move me from this chair, somebody else is going to sit in here. That's what's going on. Because we're not asleep. Yes? Barbados is not asleep. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh my word. Oh Lord. And I'm trying to find the link to send to Apostle. Apostle, you have the link. Give me a thumbs up if you have the link to send out to your people. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Yes. Oh Lord. Oh, tonight, boy. Tonight. Clive, you got me with that one. FX Trading, BB. Good night. Good night. Say good night. We loyal opposition. Sons, daughters. Blessed is this movement of the people. Opposition on the move. Opposition on the move. Forward ever. Backward never. Forward ever. Backward never. Make up your mind that once you're awake, you're going to stay awake, right? Hi, Llewellyn. Yes, good night, Llewellyn. Harold, good night. Erwin, good night. I got to say hi to my people, you know. Hasbro, good night. Hey, are you sharing and are you liking? Hey, Emerson Bob from the UK. Are you sharing and are you liking? Natasha Hope. Ah, Rose. We saw Rose before. There's a different Rose now. CG, how are you? We haven't had any marches lately. No placards. I know you have ideas galore. Joy and faith. Sir Alfred, I was talking about you today about the diaspora, and that there is Sir Alfred every single night that I can remember, and you're logged on from Brooklyn, New York. Cali B. Hey, people, are you sharing? Are you sharing? Take a moment. This is a good time to share, okay? Ambassador, we have Apostle is going to be on at 7:15, okay? So at 8 o'clock we have Chester. Look up at 8 o'clock. We're going to have Mr. Cherry is going to be on, and Caswell is coming on. He had to speak in St. Philip this evening, so he's running a little late, and he let me know he's coming on. Yes, NG, good night to all. Colin Clark, good night to all. Good night. Marcia, my namesake. Blessings, Marcia. Good evening. Wonderful. Wendy Ford Griffith. Good night, Tyrone. Yes. Fall in line. Come on, fall in line. Take up your position. We don't quit. Keep your eyes open. Read the newspaper. Listen to the estimates. We're not fighting people, you know. It's a system. Yes, Elaine Rivers. Marion Griffith. Welcome all. All right, so you know how we do it. We're going to have our national anthem. And so we're gonna get ready for that. Get ready for the national anthem. Yes, Get ready for the national anthem. Tonight is a very, very, very special night. Very, very special night. Something great is happening tonight. Yeah, a very, very, very special night. And we're just getting the anthem ready for you.
Oh
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Did I turn it upside down? No, I didn't. Yes, 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 yes. This is what it's about, guys. This is what it's really all about. And I tell you, every night, that line is lingering in my head. We write our name. We write our name on history's page. We write our name. We write our name on history's page. A name like Kemar Stewart. Huh? A name like Kemar Stewart. A name like Bongo Lights. A name like Lumumba Batson. Yes? A name like Caswell Franklin. A name like Maxine McLean. A name like Glenn Murray. A name like Apostle Margaret Breedy. A name like Apostle Linroy Canterbury. We write our names on a history page, and you say your name. You say your name. You say your name. Huh? Eldad Bab, that's your name. We write our names on a history page. What is your name? You might not be a Kemar Stewart. Huh? You might not be a Kemar Stewart. You might not be a Caswell Franklin. You might not be an Apostle Breedy. But you are doing what you do in your way. And I am telling you, and I'm promising you, if we stay focused, we will see this nation turn around. We will see the change. Because the first thing that is going to happen is that what's going to happen? Patriotism. There's a love of country and a dedication to country. And what I want to remind us tonight of is that opposition, understand that this is not an easy road. It's not glamorous. It's not glamorous. Yeah, it's not glamorous. It's called for a lot of sacrifice. You hear me? A lot of sacrifice. And as Apostle Breedy is getting ready to come, I want to remind you of some Caribbean leaders that were trying to free the people and what they did to them. You remember Walter Rodney? We're going to read some of his books in our book club when we get rolling. Right, we're doing a dying colonialism right now, and then we are going to next month. We move to Animal Farm, and then we're going to move to some others. But we're going to definitely do one of Walter Rodney's. And what did they do? He was trying to liberate not just the people of Guyana, but also the region of this colonial mindset and these kinds of oppressive leaders. And what they did, they assassinated him. Yes, they did. They assassinated Walter Rodney. What did they do to Maurice Bishop? When you really sit down and listen to what Maurice Bishop, pull everything away. Don't listen to the propaganda from America. Listen, look and see what Maurice Bishop was trying to do for his people. When you listen to those programs, sit down, research Maurice Bishop, you would realize that because he was genuinely trying to help the people, they assassinated him. Yes? Look at what happened to Marcus Garvey. They put him in jail. They locked him up. Yes? They locked him up. Remember that. Remember that. Understand that change is not easy because you're pushing against a system, and because you're pushing, there's going to be bruising and there's going to be a hurt. If I push hard enough, my hand is going to hurt because I'm pushing against a system. Pushing. So get ready, because they're coming, guns blazing. They're coming, but we're strong. All right. So we have this wonderful Apostle Breedy on tonight. Good night, ma'am.
Good night, ma'am. Thank you for having me.
I'm looking at you and I'm seeing an Esther. I've been reading a lot about Esther, and as somebody, a woman of God, you understand what I mean by when I talk
Yes,
about Esther. And the most famous phrase or famous part in that scripture, it says, "If I perish, I perish." She was
yes,
she was determined to free her nation, right? She was
yes,
she
yes,
was determined to free her nation, And she says, if I perish, I perish. And when I think of that portion of scripture, I think of you, Apostle Breedy. So, Apostle Breedy, can you just tell us a little bit about how you came to be in Barbados? You are not Barbadian born. You were born in St. Lucia. How can you give us just a little bit? You know, we don't get to hear that often. So give us your genesis, please.
My father is Barbadian. My mother is Saint Lucian. I was born in Saint Lucia, but um, I am the I am the seventh of 13 children. So I was the only one. Actually, I was the only one that left Saint Lucia and came here to live with my grandmother, that is Barbadian. So that's it.
Wow, wow. And how long you've been living here?
Because my father was a estate manager in St. Lucia. We were raised on an estate, and so I was
I see.
back and forth as a child. Yeah.
I
So
understand.
I did part of my schooling here, uh, in St. Lucia, part here. So it was back and forth because my father had over 400 and something people under his control, in an estate in St. Lucia by the name of Grand Riviere, where he took charge over. So my father is like an entrepreneur, a Barbadian man that went to St. Lucia and married a St. Lucian woman.
Okay, okay, wonderful. Now, people say they try to dub me the most controversial person of the year last year, but a lot of people think that you're pretty controversial yourself. So,
I love to be controversial. I like to be different. The fact is that I like to, don't mind that. They are really telling you that you are someone special. If you are controversial, you are somebody special. I've come to that place in my life where I really don't care what nobody say. If I'm standing up for something for Christ, and that's what I want you to get at. You are here, you are here right now. God brought you here to do something, and you're gonna do it whether you perish or you live.
there
That's
you
what He called you to do.
Yeah, Apostle, I want to ask. I know we're going to talk about something that happened to you recently, and believe me, guys, you need to stick around and share because you need to understand the length that they are going after anybody who is speaking out. Need to understand this and understand the kind of government that we are under. Now, Apostle Brady, before we get into those incidents, let me ask you something. You know, people say, I don't think Apostle Breedy loves Barbados. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but they
I've
say
heard that. I love Barbados.
they say I don't think Apostle Breedy loves Barbados because whatever she has to say about Barbados, it's negative. What do you say about that?
Well, as a child of God, if you look at Jeremiah, I'm different. Jeremiah, you look at Jehu, you look at Elijah, they had negative things to speak about.
Mm,
And the fact is that Barbados was called to be the spiritual capital of the world. I am
mhm,
here. I'm here to do a job, not to
mhm.
please man. I'm not here to please man. I'm not here to please what people have to say. The fact is, if God gives me, I travel around the world. If God gives me a job to do and He asks me to speak, I can't speak something contrary to what
Yes.
He asked me to speak. Barbados is called to be the spiritual capital of the Caribbean. And
Yes.
if it is going astray and God gives me a message for the country, I cannot give something contrary. I have to speak what God say, and I pray for Barbados all the time. When we look at this country, I was here from a child. You can literally see that this country has gone away. Christianity is not as it used to be. It's gone away from God. So we need to get back the spiritual aspect back in the nation. And so I will speak, Miss Marcia, I will speak what God want me. I have make a decision whether I die or live here, die or still stay alive. I will speak. And
Yes,
that's where God wants you to be. Do not allow anyone or anything or any entity to stop your voice.
yes, yes. And you know, it's Easy D says, welcome, welcome, glad to see Apostle. He says, like Caswell, I too can hold back. Sometimes you seem to come across to me as despising Bajans, but perhaps that's not your true intention. And you're correct. You know, she's saying that when you look at, scriptures, if you look at the Bible, you would think that Jeremiah hated the people. You would think that Isaiah hated the people. And that's what they say about even Caswell. They say Caswell, don't like the government, and Caswell, but he has to speak what he has to speak, and it doesn't mean that that he doesn't like the country, or doesn't like anything about what the government is saying. And it's the same with you, Apostle Breedy, as you said, like Jeremiah, you're a prophet, and so you speak as you see it. So sometimes that might not come across in the way that they want it to, that we expect.
I believe as a child of God that I must do what God say, not what man says. And there are lots of people over the years that will want me to go contrary to what God has called me to do. I've been successful in the things that I do for the Lord, and He's been with me. And in my early years of ministry, I thought much people don't like me. But then when I started to grasp at what I'm called to do, I really didn't care. I really didn't care. I am here to do a job. And when my days is end in this earth, I want God to say to me, well done, good and faithful servant. I pray for Barbados all the time. I have 3 children that are Barbadians, my granddaughter, and I have a church that, we have some lovely Barbadian people that are part of our ministry. I treat everybody well. I'm not a very mix of people though, because I think I have had a share. I love people, but the fact is that I have to speak what God say. I
Yes.
have to speak what God say at the
And
end of
what
the day.
people don't know is that you have businesses in Barbados, and you employ Barbadians. You're an employer as well, and I think that just speaks volume. I've been to your store, and they speak so well of you, and so I think that we have to understand the role that people play, and what it is that they have to do. Now, Apostle Breedy, since you've been here and you've been speaking out, you've endured a lot of persecution. I look at you and I said, my Lord, this lady, those shoulders, I'm looking at your shoulders. You've carried a lot, you woman of God, you've carried a lot on those shoulders, speaking out. And to the point where you were even put in jail. Can you tell us about that?
Um, I think this would have been 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I remember I was ministering in Jamaica. We had a conference, it's the same conference I'm having around the Caribbean. And so we have a church in Jamaica, also saving the lost. So I was there and I prophesied my own arrest. The Lord told me that when I come back, I will be arrested. So I said, what on earth I will be arrested for? I had the dream and I told my church, the ministry, that they need to pray for me because I will be arrested. A young girl was calling me for months before I left Barbados to go to Jamaica, and I would not take the call. I saw myself in the newspaper. I said, wait, I had the dream and I said, wait, it looks like something good. But not knowing that these people were after me I mean, it was something else. So I did an interview. I own a magazine, so I did an interview with the young lady because the young lady was being, this man at this church was having sex with this young woman. And I thought,
It was
as
a preacher. It was a preacher. Was it a preacher or
a preacher, but he had ties to the government.
right?
He
A
had ties.
preacher that had ties to the government. Yes, ma'am.
He had ties to the government. So um, I did an interview with the young lady. because I wanted to know how many more girls were being sexually whatever inside that church.
Mm-hmm.
So I did the interview openly, not knowing that they had this law that. So I am speaking to the girl, and while I'm speaking to the girl, I told the girl, "Who is the person that did this to you?" She mentioned the person's name, not knowing that half of the police force here was looking at me while I was doing that interview. When I did the interview, I tried to help the girl because the girl was suicidal afterwards. He left the church and he took the girl to a house, one of the mother's house, and he had sex with the girl there also.
That this is
Went,
a pastor, a pastor.
that's a pastor. So after he had sex with the girl, he bathed her because he bathed her in something. So the whole thing was there. So he had contact with the government and also the police force.
Mm-hmm.
Two police came and after that, I realized I was being monitored. Two police came and they told me to they take down the Facebook Live. I said, I'm not taking it down. So I called my lawyers. I had one lawyer then. I called the lawyer and I said, they told me to take it down. This is what I do. I own a magazine. That's what I do. All of a sudden, the next week, my daughter that's a teacher, my other daughter that's a songwriter, singer, my son that's a musician, my secretary, because I don't leave home. I work from home instead of going to the office. Two policemen came, and when they came, they never show a warrant. They never show anything. I am here getting my hair ready to go out to do a live. They just came in. They dragged me from the chair. The man literally tore the police literally tore my pajamas, hold me by my vagina as a woman of God, beat my whole entire body, then slapped Maria, my secretary, then took one of those candle thing, hit my daughter in the head. They arrested. So I am saying to myself, what is this? I have never had a criminal. I have never had a criminal thing in my life. They came in here. They beat me up. God told me don't retaliate because he told me that he's going to show Barbados who I am. He said, first of all, I'm going to kill the man who did that to you, and he did die, and I'm going to kill the rest. I'm going to kill all of them who put their hands on you. So when they came, they beat up my children. They arrest me. They arrest my three children. They arrest Maria. And when I got to the police station, 16 policemen, 16 vans came for one woman. And police, you would think that here was where I live in Christchurch was something else. I said, wait, 16 police van come to arrest one woman? That can't be normal. That cannot be normal. When I got to the police station, I don't know if I had ministered to a woman, but she said they touched the wrong person this time. And apparently, they were trying to arrest me for.
Hold a second, Miss. I just have to correct something here. I want us guys to be civil with each other. Mr. Mackenzie has expressed how he feels listening to a lot of anything that I wouldn't even put it on the screen. What he said, you can read it, and that's his expression. He is free to express his thoughts. Let us respect each other. Please don't call him names. It's no need for us to turn on him because he's not he doesn't believe in Christianity. That cannot be right. Okay, please let's listen to the story. Not the story. Let's listen to what the authority did to this woman. And I say that to Mr. Mackenzie and others who believe that Apostle is going to preach. She's not preaching. She's just telling her story of what happened to her. So let us take it for that. And the rest of us in here, can we please cut out the name calling? I think that that is not right. Okay, please, right? Just stop, please, and let's listen. This is very important because we're part of a movement, and we have Rastafari part of the movement. Muslim people are part of the movement. Atheists are part of the movement. Christians are part of the movement. Okay, so let's respect each other. Thank you so much. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So they came in, they arrest my three children, they arrest my secretary, my hairstylist was here, and I'm seeing all of these squad vans. They came in, they took all my computers, they took all my phones, and I'm saying, what did I do? What did I do? This is like something else. There's another case that goes. I said, this is something else. When I got to the police station, they I had to call one of my lawyers, which is a criminal lawyer, um, Mr. Pilgrim, and my children got to go home. And these people were after me in so many ways that Maria and I were charged. So I said, so we slept in this cell, and when I sing the whole night because I just was rich. I sing the whole night
So
because I said thank you.
you actually spent a night in jail.
I spent a night in the cell. Yes.
Wow.
And while I was in the cell, I cannot tell the whole story, but when I was in the cell, the Lord appeared and put those policemen, you saw it in the book, they start to run because they thought, but the power of God came into that cell that even prisoners that was crying out while I was there became quiet. So the next morning, it was one day before Good Friday. The next morning, uh, people have to read the book. The next morning, I was taken down to Bridgetown, where I was fingerprint as a criminal. I was fingerprint as a criminal. So the next day, I was placed in the front of the paper, and I'm wondering, what is this? What is this?
Apostle, what did they charge you for?
They said computer something.
The Computer
Um,
Misuse Act. But, but but I can never. I understand that. I understand that, but I can't understand why the night in jail. But continue.
so I said, okay. I said, okay. So the next day, I was seen by a judge. So what they wanted to do is to shut me from social media. Um, there was the Nation newspaper. I thought I was a celebrity. I didn't know I was. I didn't know I had so much value as one a pastor, as a black woman. I said, I'm the biggest fish here. The Nation newspaper was waiting there as I come down from the court to have my picture to say that I was the first pastor to be charged for computer use. So
Right.
when I
Everybody's thinking that is computer fraud. It's not computer fraud. It is the Computer Misuse Act because the young lady that she was interviewing mentioned the name of the pastor of the pastor that she alleged that she said that raped her. So the person mentioned the name on the program live on Facebook. So that was the issue, which is very similar to the cyber crime bill. But go ahead, please.
So while I was there, the magistrate, whatever his name, I can't remember his name, but he was there. And the Lord told me that morning how to dress. He told me how to dress. And he told me when I stand before the magistrate, that they want to stop me from preaching the gospel, but he's going to change the mind of the magistrate. Actually, I just finished writing the second part of that book. He said, well, we cannot stop Pastor Breedy Haynes from preaching the gospel. That's what she's called to do. She's called to do, and she will continue to preach the gospel here. But the fact is, I am excited that I was one that was arrested for the sake of Christ. And I will never remove my name from that place
Yes.
because it brought me. No, I don't have the time for that. It made me more radical, and I'm ready to die. I'm ready to die for the sake of Christ. I'm ready to die for what I believe. I'm ready to die for whatever that I have to stand for. I'm ready to it. And much Christians have not reached this level. I'm ready for that.
Yes, yes, yes. That is I think that is the stage where we need to get and to understand, and where some of us, we're part of this movement, and we must understand that. Remember, we started off the program talking about Walter Rodney and Maurice Bishop and all of these people, and we are writing our names on a history page. But remember, that there's a sacrifice for all of this. But let's bring us up to last week. Now, what is interesting is that you came to the march, and you spoke at the cybercrime bill march that we had in town.
Yes.
And for some reason, you were right in the newspaper. I think it was a Sunday Sun. I remember you called and you said that you were in the Sunday Sun, and you said, "Oh Lord, they put my picture in the paper now. Oh my goodness!" You remember you said that, and you
I
said,
said that.
like,
Yes.
you were a little. You said, "Well, it happened already. You didn't come there for your picture to be, but you were right there." Mr. Franklin was, I think, to your left, and you were right there in the center, right? Apostle Breedy. They had your picture in the paper. And a week later, tell us what happened to you. And this is what, and I want us to listen. I know that you all have your various views about, apostles and prophets, and probably even Apostle Breedy. You have your own thinking, your own thoughts about who she is. But listen to what this lady's telling us and what has happened to her. Tell us what happened to you, Apostle Breedy. A few days later, after that, you were in the newspaper at the march.
Okay, I'm traveling to another mission to St. Vincent, and that has never happened to me before. You pass through the metal detector, and all of your suitcase goes under, that metal detector there. And afterwards, you take off your shoes, and you go through the metal detector. And after you do that, and you go through that, you go right through to sit to wait for the plane. To wait for the plane. Uh, a group is traveling with me to St. Vincent, and I was pulled back, and they said that I had, oh Lord, what's the name of the? They said I had some sort of explosive on me. So
So
I
this is in
said
Barbados, the Barbados airport. They stopped you
that's
because
in.
they sent a group along, and they took out Apostle Breedy, and they told Apostle Breedy that you have some kind of explosives on you. We have a little video of it. I'm going to see if we're a technical person. We can hear what is happening, but we can see that they've singled her out. So this is just to corroborate her story. So I'll see if they can show the video without the audio. If that can happen while we're speaking. Go ahead, please.
Okay, you want me to continue?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So they said I have explosive on me. So I said, what explosive? I just passed through the metal detector. The lady said the others there are waiting on me. They said, no, 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 no. I have to call my supervisor. And I was checked again. And she continued to do what and I'm just there smiling. And I'm saying to myself, Lord. So I said to her, the only explosives I have is the power of the Holy Spirit. So she called her supervisor. Maybe they wanted to stop me from traveling or whatever, but that's what happened.
Wow. And I remember, as soon as you told me, I remember your picture in the paper. And I remember I remembered when I told this audience that on my way to Poland, in it was October last year, that every checkpoint, everywhere I was stopped, the other person from Barbados was sent through, and like clockwork, they took me aside. They stopped me every single time, and we were carrying the same passport. I traveled on a Barbados passport, right? Yeah. And I was stopped. So I understand. And the reason I wanted you to come on to share what just happened to you is so that people understand the kind of government that we're dealing with. Did they find any explosives on you, Apostle Breedy?
Well, I don't know what explosive they were talking about because the only explosives I have is my mouth. So I, I, I don't know what type of explosive the only explosive is my mouth. So I don't know what I don't know what type of explosive they're talking. Only my mouth is the explosive. So I don't know. So I was held there for a bit. I don't know. So I said to the lady, please open because I carry books. I said to the lady, please open the suitcase. She refused. So I knew that I was singled out. I don't know what's nonsense. The only explosive is my mouth. So afterwards they let me go and I decide, well, that's it. I don't understand what's going on. But I think, you know what I think? I think it is time for Barbadians to understand where we are and where this nation is going, where it is going, and what they need to do as a people to come together and to fight this system. I just think that's it.
Yeah. So you believe that we need to understand what is going on and how we can rally around each other. Mr. Franklin, good night, sir. It's good to see you.
Good night. Thank you. It's very good to be here too because I was elsewhere tonight. I was up there giving the Dems a pep talk. You know, because everything I do, I have to get these people out of office.
Yes,
So if it
yes,
means that I have to go and associate with the Dems to get them out, I tell them tonight, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and
yes,
this government is the enemy of Barbados and Barbadians. And as a patriotic Bajan, I got to go, and the Dems are also their enemy. So since we are two enemies of the same person, then they must be my friend, and I will
yes,
work for
yes.
them. I will help them do anything to get this government out of office. It is as
Correct,
simple as that.
correct.
So when they gave me the invitation, I said,
But
"Well, I can."
before you go, I'm going. I have to send. I have to. I know the apostle can't stay with us the whole night because I know you're going. I want to hear the full. I want to hear all about that a little later. But I want you to. You heard what just happened to Apostle Breedy since she came on the march. What
Yeah,
are your
well,
thoughts?
I expected things to happen, and like I'm not traveling. I don't have a passport, so it wouldn't happen to me because I was waiting for that ID bill to be enforced. Then it was going to apply for my passport, so I can sue them. But so I couldn't travel. I have to go and get one now. But I suspect you will happen to you, and if Kimar travels, it will happen to him because they want to terrorize us. They want to They don't want to. Um, they would rather lock us up. But if they can't find us to lock up with anything, they can terrorize us to frighten us away from our mission. And my mission is supposed to be sacred. I know the apostles' mission, hers is sacred too. So um, they're not going to run her. I like when she said the only explosive she got is her mouth.
I know you would like that.
Yeah.
I know you would like that, and I know some people, like when we talk about the harassment that we go through, people will say like there are people wondering if the story is true, whatever. And there were people traveling with her. Thank you for carrying with purpose. And I have no note because as soon as it happened, I remember you called me and to let me know, Marcia, this has just happened to me. Yeah. And I know I believe it because of what I went through going to Poland till I just have to laugh as soon as. And by the time we were coming back, Apostle, they started to stop the other person who was traveling with me, right? So for those who are wondering whether it happened, because sometimes you don't want to believe that our government will do things like this. Well, Apostle, I am grateful that you got to go to do your preaching and you're back, and and we are looking forward to you to continue to use that mouth of yours.
The explosive, yes. All right, so I truly give God thanks for everything, and that is not going to deter me from working for what I doing what God has called me to do for the country, and I will continue to do what I have to do for this country. Okay, I'm tough.
Yes, well, thank you so much, and we ask you to keep what you're doing. We need all. Mr. Franklin is a trade unionist, right? And he uses that platform and he speaks as well. And he rallies the workers and he does what he does. I use the skills I have.
Yeah.
I'm a filmmaker, I'm an artist, I use media, I use social media. I use what I have. You are a prophet and you use what you have, what you have been given. Somebody else uses something else. And so I think that Lumumba and Bongo, they use their Rastafari and they do it from that perspective, right? So I think
Yes.
we have to be there's room for everybody and we just need to respect each other. That's
Yes.
what I think. And I just want to commend you, Matt, for what you do and thank you so very much for being with us here tonight.
God bless and have a good night.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. God bless. Bye bye.
Okay.
Mr. Franklin, you better don't try to go and talk about you're going to travel. You know they're going to harass you.
Well, I might not be that unfortunate because I represent some of the people who do the mark scanners. I represent some of the people at customs. I represent some people at immigration. So I might not get the kind of mistreatment that you get because the people don't want it. I went to the police station the other night and evening, and they were all very courteous to me. I felt for them too because they were working hard. They didn't get a break. The fellow at the front, I asked him. I said, but I came here around 3 o'clock. There's no 10 o'clock. Are you still there? You only had a break. What happening? You fellas need to join the union here. You know, because I told him, like when Grantley Watson was commissioner of police, I approached him about police joining unions. He told me that would not happen in his lifetime. He was correct. His funeral is this week. But I'm not saying that those people should be able to strike. I'm saying that they should have rights to bargain collectively and to access all that because a union is not about striking. Striking is the last resort. When you see us take industrial action in the form of a strike, that is when we find that there's nothing else we can do. Because that's our ultimate weapon. That is our nuclear bomb. Because we can't do nothing else, we can't beat them. So we have to withdraw our labor. And but sometimes the first resort is to take industrial action in terms of withdrawing your labor when you go to a building and the place is stink and people are there working. And I tell them I'm not coming in there with you. You may welcome to me outside because I'm not coming in that filth. I live in a windswept area and I don't get that kind of smells anytime at all, and I'm not going to enjoy it just to come and represent you. So come outside, come and talk with me.
Yeah.
So when you see my union members outside, they're coming to talk to me because I'm not going there with them. Not if they're complaining about environmental problems. I happen to have a report from the 2 floors on
Okay,
the.
before somebody have a question there for you, which would take you back to what I remember I cut you off there so we could complete our mission with Apostle Breedy. But somebody has a question there for you. I don't know if you choose to answer this now or later.
No, I'll answer no. The chairman of the branch, when I got there, I realized it was a woman I represented years ago when they were taking the unfair her. And she was a member of another union. And she came to me and I got her matter sorted out very quickly. She has never forgotten that. She told me, when you see me, when she called me and said, she said, you will know who the body is when you see me. So when I got up there, I realized, so I was among friends. And another guy,
Which branch were you at?
um, West, St. Philip West.
St. Philip West. I see. Okay, so it's like that. I thought the entire St. Philip was a branch. So you were at the St. Philip West DLP meeting this evening.
Yes.
Okay.
So and then there was another guy, who lived next door to me when I lived in Richmond Hall. He's now living in St. Philip. So my neighbor. Um, so it's not a question of being among the Dems, among the Qs or the Bs or the Rs. I was among friends, and they happened to be Dems. And that's how it always used to be. When I was a young man growing up, well, a younger man, because I'm still a young man, don't ever forget that. And politics was just a 3 week thing, this party politics thing. Everybody's had their choice of voting. But no, this administration is trying to force people into political camps to have that type of nonsense that happened in Jamaica years ago that Jamaicans are trying to get rid of and that we're trying to get. Because that caused a lot of lives in Jamaica. So I don't know if they want to push us down that road too. But I sat among friends. Of course, Tony Wood was there to speak after me because I asked him for a slot so I can speak and get back here. Because I didn't want to miss this. So we started a little bit late. So that's how come I got back here this time, because the meeting starts at 4:30, but we started after 5. So that half an hour pushed me back. And I would have been here to start.
Yeah.
So I felt welcome, and everybody came, embraced me. They think I'm one of theirs, especially having a yellow shirt. This shirt is yellow, but that was deliberate. I looked for a yellow shirt and I put it on.
But Caswell, you have been hard on the DLP, and I think that
I was hard on them tonight too.
uh
I told them how I felt. I told them the truth. I told them that they got to stop this nonsense about pulling down each other and work as a unit. That there must be a fighting force. The Barbados Labour Party has problems, lots of them. What do you think? 5 of them wanted to cross with Ralph, but something happened and caused the rest of them to run back. They got problems, but they handle their problems internally. When you fighting and you just go to your headquarters and fight like hell, but when you leave there, come out smiling for the public to see your bedroom business. You don't discuss your bedroom business when you home. You don't discuss if your husband had a noise or your wife had a noise. So why should you go and discuss your family's business? And they see political families as families. Mind you, I divorced my political family years ago, but that's one way you can divorce. But when you have noise, you keep it home. And I reminded them, a political party is not established to be an opposition. Or for a political party is established, it exists to run the government. So you don't plan to be an opposition. You plan to be in government, and then so be it. Somebody has to be in opposition in the end. So if that is your fate, then you accept it. But you don't go there. So in looking in the campaign, saying, well, this head honcho that we have now is popular and stuff. No, as popular as our Barrow was more popular than she ever was, and he lost an election. So you have to convince the people that you can be trusted with the government of Barbados. This group has shown that they can't be trusted.
Mhm.
And if you don't provide an alternative, and right now the Democratic Labour Party is the only organization in Barbados right now that exists that can challenge the government. They got other people that might come with some parties with 5 and 6 candidates and think you cannot win a government with 5 and 6 candidates. You would only serve yourself if you and that is why Ralph, but he didn't tell me this, but I can see it from what's happening. That is why Ralph joined the Democratic Labour Party, because he needed a party, a mass-based party, um, to be legitimate, to show that he's willing and able to take over the government if that comes. You can't do it out there by yourself. People always tell me, Caswell, you should run. Run where? I got a bad knee. Can't run anyhow. But, you know, if I run, I can't form the government. And it doesn't make sense me out there by myself. And the opposition is so fractured that the government walks away with everything. No. I am not a dem. I never have been. But I have friends that are girls. I've never been a girl, So I got friends that are dems. So I can work with them. I love girls. I love some of the Democratic Party people. So it doesn't happen. But when I had to speak with them, I told them what I believe. I told them the truth. I told them but from my heart, you know. You might not like. I told them. I said, like, you had a woman there who was real bright, but you think that she was not suited for you because she wasn't um, loudmouth and raucous and bogus and all kind of stuff. But we had a person in form of Verla Pisa who is, I can't say 10 times brighter than me or Motley, because 10 times not is not bright. But every single point I'm making, she's a very intelligent woman, you know. But and I don't know what happened in there, but they gave her a hard time. No, you have to support your people. When the government form, I don't want you to form an opposition. Right now, Barbados don't need an opposition. We need a government, because these people here are destroying this place,
Yeah.
and they don't have the exegonads, to be nice, to stand up to the Prime Minister and say, Prime Minister, what you're doing is wrong. We don't like it. A lot of them talk about it amongst them friends, and some of them tell me things. But when it comes to then confronting Molly, it is yes, ma'am, 3 bags full. That nonsense has to stop. You were elected to represent your constituents, and the interests of your constituents do not coincide for the most part with Motley's agenda. So you have to tell her that. Or the constituents, at the first opportunity to move you, should move you.
And that is what, as you said, Ralph, Mr. Thorne made up his mind and what he wanted to do, and he moved. And we want to remind people that on this show that we are not pushing the GLP, the DLP, the third party, or anybody. We're talking about, we're talking about things Barbados, and the DLP is part of Barbados. Caswell is saying he just came back from a meeting at the DLP, so we're talking about that. But up next, we have Mr. Cherry. Anderson Cherry is here with us again. And we are so very, very happy to have him with us. And every time I see him, every time I see you, Mr. Cherry, I remember you coming to my school to speak with the children there. And there was a young man who almost looked like you. I don't know if you remember. And he was probably about 10 years old. And he was upfront asking the questions, and he was so caught up in what you had to say. Those children were all into it. You went even longer than you're supposed to be there. And those children, my son was there too. He was all into it. And I thank you the last time. But whenever I see you, I remember that. Mr. Cherry, it's great to have you again. Good night. You're muted.
Yes, I'm sorry. Good night to
Yeah.
everyone. Good night to the general. Um, it's an honor to be here with you. I see you got on your yellow shirt. I have on my red one. This wasn't planned. This wasn't planned, but everyone know that I'm a supporter of the Barbados Labour Party. I'm not a member, but I'm a supporter. But I'm one of the persons that if some person
Can you
or
speak up a little? Is he sounding low to you, Caswell, or it's
Yeah,
me?
she can get a little close to
is
him.
it better here now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Hopefully, yeah.
yeah. So I'm a supporter of the Barbados Labour Party, but I also would want to support if people are doing good, and if people are doing good, I would support them, and if they are doing bad, I would speak out. And I think that what is happening to us, Mr. Franklin, as a people, is a level of injustice and a lot of the stuff that I find that is wrong. And I know that when I speak out, we often get victimized, huh? And a lot of my brothers is scared to do that. But I could understand. I could understand why because I felt the wrath, my brother. But you know, my I want to speak a little bit about my journey, huh? How I get
Yes.
here. Um, as a young boy raised up in Bushall, I've been to school at St. Leonard's, and I'm not too much a bright kid, huh? And but my dad used to put me in front of TV every evening. I didn't have the privilege to go outside and run around and play and stuff. I just got to sit down and listen to the 7 o'clock news. And I remember one program after the 7 o'clock news. I heard Sir Charles Williams at the time. Um, he wasn't Sir Charles, he was Carl Williams at the time. He said something that changed my life forever. He said, among black people, there's there's not any second and third generation black businesses in Barbados. There's not many. And then he went on and said if he dead, he has this person and the next person to take over. At that point in time, Marcia, I made up my mind at the tender age as 11 that I will have a second or third generation black business. And I remember when I left school, when I was going to school, my dad took sick. And I left school at 16 years old. I left school with two certificates, huh? My baptism and birth. And so I left school at I, I left school at 16
Okay.
years old.
Okay. Somebody. Okay. Where? I wonder if it's your computer audio. Can you turn? Is your audio on your computer all the way up? I'm wondering, or whatever you're
I
using.
yeah, it's the
You
computer,
think?
I believe so.
I'm hearing
Right.
him well though.
You're hearing
Is
him
it,
well?
Yes.
you can hear me?
But I got nice stuff.
Yes. 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 People are saying that he's really low. We
Okay.
want
Is
to
it better
hear him.
now? Is it better?
Okay, keep talking and we'll tell you. Keep talking. You keep talking. We want to hear
Okay.
you.
All right. So I'm gonna shout. Ah! So yeah. So when I left school, I've been to Venezuela, and I start to, when I was on that trip, I was always a fat child. So the clothes couldn't fit me and stuff. So I bought back a lot of clothes and sell, and um, I made back my um, um, plane flight, hotel accommodation, my spending money, and I ended up with some money. So what? It's a good deal. And I went again and come back. But when I come back, my dad told me, no, you can't go to those Palestinian countries. It's very dangerous. And my dad had a guy there that we bought. I had 11,000 saved at that time, and my dad purchased a ZR van for me. So I said, Daddy, okay, look, I gotta pay back the money, but if I didn't want part of my $11,000, because it was my only $11,000 I had, that was Z1060. And I started. My father said we go and do some dollar vans, like cause he said when he is in Gazette as a young man, he started dollar van business, but at that time it was 10 cents and 15 cents and stuff. So I start doing knowing my hustle in Bashal. And the importance of this is that on my first vehicle, I put on God bless Fat Child because I knew that I would be very, very successful. And I wanted the entire Barbados and the world know that it's God who blessed me and not man. And fast forward to forward, I made a lot of mistakes in business. I fall, I went up, I went down. It's not an easy journey in Barbados. And any entrepreneur could tell you that it is not easy to try to run a business. I failed so many times, you know. But in 2015, in 2015, my life changed. I started to read in the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Richest Man in Babylon. And The Richest Man in Babylon and Think and Grow Rich really changed my life. There was something in Think and Grow Rich that I read that is very important. I would like to share it with every person. And most of these things that I done is based on the Bible. It was Matthew 7:7. Ask and it should be given. Seek and you should find. Knock and doors shall be opened unto you. And it went on and said, for everyone that asks, receive. And everyone that seeks, find. Everyone that knocks, doors open. And I found that, I said, wow. You mean that I have the power to speak things into existence? And I said, this is amazing. And I started my journey. So in 2015, I had $0. And I did a press release because I knew when I did this press release, there's no turning back right now. And I did a press release and said, look, I'm launching a $34 million recycling program. I had no money. I mean, everybody laughed at me. Everybody said, wow, this is a bull statement. And without any money, I stepped out by faith. And fast forward to 2024, we were able to acquire 64 acres at Vaucluse with no loan because I spoke it in 2015. I invested in excess of 10 in Barbados. We only talking about Barbados, in excess of $10 million in equipment. And this is nothing to do with other countries in the Caribbean. And I'm saying this not to be boastful. I'm saying this to encourage others that if Anderson Cherry, a little black boy from Pashal, could do it, any of us could do it. All we have to do is to change the way how we think. And that led me to last week on Down to Brass Tacks. You know, I felt really hurt because I encouraged a group of men who looked like me to do the same thing that I have done. And I encourage them to join with me because I know it works. And step out there and invest because government has promised that they're going to share, I believe it was 60% in work among us. And I said, well, look, if there's 60% of this work that was shared among us as a people, if we come together, we can compete with the bigger companies. So the guys decided that, look, we're going to buy some equipment and stuff. I said, look, I will go after the asphalt plant and I'm going to mix asphalt to your guys. Y'all going to have the pavers and stuff where y'all going to pave the road for government. And I galvanized a lot of the former railside construction guys, as you know them, some guys that work at Steel Williams also. And I say, guys, look, I'm gonna mix the asphalt for y'all guys. Well, and I'm gonna rent y'all pavers, and y'all are part of this equipment. So y'all will bid us. And y'all gonna pave the roads. Y'all have the skill set. Y'all can do it. You're going to pave these roads in Barbados. And, and as a Barbadian, and to see my government have a accelerated million program and not none of us getting any of the work. I mean, I felt really bad. And to go back to what Mr. Franklin was saying, the 98% of us, we have elected a government that cares. And more so we elected our dear Prime Minister, who we love a lot. All of us, I mean, we love Prime Minister MOTTLEY. But look at what is happening to us. We are suffering. I mean, we can't get our bills paid. Look, my brother came on brass tacks, a grown man, and said that he has lost his house and now he had to rent. Marcia, can you hear me?
Yes, very much. I'm hearing you.
Yeah, he said that he has lost his house and had to rent. That almost broke my heart last week, Monday. And I know the guy, I know Mr. Robinson well. And for him to come out and say that, he had to be hurting. And I'm saying, I know Mr. Robinson has done very good work in this country. He's a wonderful person. I mean, all of us have our shortcomings. All of us has our ups and downs. But Mr. Robinson is a gentleman that knows his work. He knows his work. You can't touch him on that. And then I stop and I start to think. And I say, when I left school at 16 years old, I went to C.O. Williams' office. And I stayed there. I went the Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday. On the Thursday, Mr. Williams tell me, that, young boy, come. I see you coming here every morning. He said, I don't have no vacation jobs. So if you're looking for a job, I don't have any. He said, sir, I don't want any job. All I want you to do is to tell me how to become successful. He looked at me that morning, and that was probably like 5:30, 6 in the morning. And every morning at 5:30, 5 o'clock, I was there waiting till he come in. And he sit me down. He said, look, I'm going to tell you what my mother tell me. He said, buy land. And then we sit down and we talk about stuff about equipment and stuff. I left there and I went by Arthur Construction. And I asked Arthur Construction to give me some advice. And we had a lot of discussion, and he told me what types of equipment to purchase and stuff. That's here in Arthur. And I left there and I went that same day. I can remember that now. I went back to St. Leonard's School. And Ray was paving St. Leonard's hardcore at the time. And old man Ray said, Cherry, and shaking his shoulder, and cigarette in his mouth, and say, look, you see those trucks there, those make a lot of money for me and do this and do that. And I took a piece of what what they would call successful businessmen said. And I started business. My dad is who originally started wholesale in 1969, because my brother is Jose and my father is Joseph. So that's how you get Jose, Joseph. But when my dad took sick, when I was 15, 16, I took over the business. Mm-hmm. And then I expanded the company to Jose Construction and a lot of liquid. And, so then I started a lot of different businesses and stuff. And, and it was, the journey was a very long and tough journey. As I said before, I failed so many different times. But when Mr. Robinson came out, I started to think. I said, I tried to count 10 black businesses that failed. And then I said, let me see how many that was around for the second generation. So let me look at the ones that failed. I started to say, what we would then know as railway construction, because the construction arm of the business don't run the equipment and stuff. I look at Roy Davis, Canterbury Construction. I even look at the same Graphic Construction down there that is struggling. And then when I look back at the same Ajax Construction, I said, no, this is just too much. I just can't continue to sit here while my brothers are failing so all the time. So it's not about me, Marcia. It's not about me. As I share with my kids, I tell my kids, like they got to get out and do some work. I have um, five of the most wonderful kids. One of them he's on the block. He like being on the block for some reason. Daddy has all of this, and he like being on the block. I don't know why. And and I go on the block and bring home people that my son at home going on the block. So sometimes it's got your little ups and downs. It is amazing how things has happened. And I'm 52 years old today. I'm 52 years old, not today, but 52 years old. And I often at dinner with my kids every Friday night, I tell them this, if I project my life to age 80, I only got 28 more years on earth, because someday I'm gonna go on. And I don't know if I could work to 80 years old, but if I project my life to age 80, I got 28 more years. And if I could live off of $5,000 a month, meaning because I don't have a mortgage, I don't have a car loan, and if I could live off of $5,000 a month, that's about $1,680,000, if my math is correct, that I would need to live for the next 28 years. So I'm good. It's not about me. It's about my grands and my great grands. The Bible said a wise man stored for his children and his children's children. Now, so bear me, I'm not saying this in any way trying to boast, but I'm saying I have 3 grands, and they're going to start life different than other people, because they don't have to go and look to get a 20-year mortgage. They don't have all that, but they might have some pieces of certificate that have no value to me, because at my age, there's no value to me. They're going to start with a certificate that may mark who was construction or some other piece of property or something. But let us talk about the others, my other Black brothers in Barbados. I would like them to be able to create wealth and pass it on to their children and their children's children as well. And we have a government that came into power that say that they cares, but yet we watching every single day. We have to sit down and watch a certain group who doesn't look like me get every single thing, and that is wrong. I mean, last week when I spoke out, I was so hurt. I was so hurt to sit down and listen to someone saying, because I asked for a mobilization, which if you read today's paper, the government refuting what I say. I mean, which I don't understand. They refute. I think what they should have done was deny. How can they say that we have $30 million to spend before the end of the financial year, and that is 2 months before the end of the financial year, which represent $30 million is $500,000 per day. Do the math. 30 million is $500,000 a day. That we, the 98% of us, I believe, most of us who pay the taxes and stuff, and I know a lot of people may be angry or sometimes, I'm not so elegant in speech like some others, but they will come and, like try to, how can anyone see that that is right? I'm saying, just like Mr. Franklin, what we have done is elect Prime Minister MOTTLEY as our Prime Minister. Prime Minister MOTTLEY is who really won the government. And I'm asking tonight on your show that Prime Minister MOTTLEY come home and really spend some more time in Barbados. We really appreciate you, Prime Minister, what you're doing for the country, for the Caribbean, but we want you to come home. Please come home and attend to us Barbadians that is hurting. The 98% who voted for you, who put you there, we are hurting. And we are begging you to come home. Spend some time here home and deal with this matter. We cannot continue to hurt in silence. It's not fair. We vote you in twice. And look at what is happening to us. We as Black people sitting here and watching two companies doing $30 million in work. And I was told on brass tacks on Monday, I could go after the others. Little 1 million and 2 million. Listen, why all of us have to eat the crumbs off the table when we get a chance to sit around the table? Because that is is that a table that's set for other people? My Prime Minister travels the world speaking about reparations. I was listening to the UN speech today again. Listen, we talking about enfranchisement and reparations. It got to start home here. It got to start at home, though. It got to start at home. It is what is happening is not fair. I know the pressure that I gonna come under, even among our own. You know, and we have talent. We as the people have talent. Listen, you know who's my hero in business? Neville Rowe. Neville Rowe built a supermarket in the smack of Haggett Hall when there wasn't the businesses around there. It got the most beautiful car park. I don't even think the building ever get painted. You see what a visionary that man is? But yet we will knock him because he may wear jelly curls in those days. That man is my hero.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I see when I went to your school, and you know, often since I came off of brass, that so many people call me and say, Cherry, thank you. I really appreciate it. I mean, I spent the last 5 days just returning messages because there's just so many people come and say, Cherry, I want to be like you. And you know, I just can't let down people. And I just can't let down my brothers and sisters and just stop here and not speak out when you're seeing injustice being done. If you hear the amount of money that's been, listen, I remember down at St. Lucie speak, you know, myself and the Prime Minister, you know, we were speaking and getting a little high words. And, you know, something that was said, you know, like, they have a list of all the work that they got. And they say, you know something? When that list is produced, you have to have something to compare it with. So I too have a list of all of other companies.
Let's clarify. Who said? So you said you were at this event and you got into high words with the Prime Minister, discussion. And they said that they have a list. They have a list of the work that they gave you.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So you know, well, I have a list too of what other persons got. So I mean, and when you could compare it, it is unbelievable. It is not. I mean, it is unbelievable. And y'all will, so many different companies with so many different names and so many different ways. But when the corporate veil is revealed, you will be surprised. I mean, it is painful. And all that we are asking is to please share our money with us. All we ask is for it to come back into our community. That's all. And this paving program is a good example. Look, if what I think the government should have done, is focused on vertical construction. You get more people back to work. It's difficult to say that when I'm in road building, but you get people back to work because you put more laborers and carpenters and masons and stuff to work. So everybody get to pay taxes. Everybody eat. The lady that selling vegetables, so the road she can grow more vegetables. The person that's selling food, vendors, they can do more food. The you know, everybody, a worker and his girlfriend would get some work. You know, the hardware is going to sell. Everybody's going to get some work. Now, the government is spending a lot of money in road building and road works. Yes, the country needs road work. I totally agree. But here is coming from a person that is in the road building business and saying that you should do vertical construction. And when I look back, and in a pandemic, most countries did road works. I said, okay, I said in my head, look at that history, I'm going to get into a lot of road building. So I know my people. I know how to think. And on Monday on Brass Stats was a perfect example. You had, I think it's Tall Boy and all these guys, and you had a lot of people talking along with the government speaking and saying, look, if these people had this work, and look, so when I started my group, I said, well, look, I will mix this asphalt for you guys. Y'all are professional road builders. You do the work. I will clarify the road. I will rent you my pavers until y'all able to buy some. And you do the paving. I will do the mixing. Because the pie was shared. So if out of this $30 million, we would have gotten 10 into our community, that 10 would feed another 26 or 30. That 30 going to go home and feed 30 families. And that 30 families going to feed, you know, the money will spread. And it will get us rolling. You understand? And then when we start to move, we're going to do things too. We're going to get our mortgages paid off. We're going to start to move in the right direction. But if it going one direction and all that we are good for is to spread the same asphalt for people, that we can drive the same people truck and we can't drive our own, it is not fair.
Mr. Cherry, before you go on, there are several, this is, I must say, very compelling, you know, I didn't, this is heavy stuff because it's real. It's very real, you know, what you're sharing. Someone is asking, they keep asking the question, Peter the Earl had asked it earlier, and Hurricane Writer is asking, what about the other 26 truckers and road builders? They want to know, are they afraid to stand by or with you, Mr. Cherry? And if they're afraid, why?
Well, everyone can't do what Mr. Robinson did, and also the other Mr. Williams did yesterday, on last week Monday. Look, let me share what happened. I went on Brass Stacks, and it was not planned. This was something last year. I just, you know, something was going on, and I went on, and I was waiting on the conversation. That was the Thursday. I think it was the Thursday or the thing, and it was the Thursday, and by the Friday, I had a piece of equipment working in the landfill, and by the Friday, I was asked to move it out, and another company tractor was in. Now, I'm saying the other company's getting all of the road work, and not even I could work in the landfill. And I have to park my tractor outside of the landfill because I ain't got no work for it. And I watch another company, and they're working every single day from then to now. They're working almost every day. And you see what's happened. I mean, that is so Wrong. The work is going in one direction, and it need to share. I
So,
think
Mr.
that everybody should live.
So, Mr. Cherry, I understand that you're saying it needs to share. The question is, though, are you saying that those 26, those others, well, probably 24, because a couple of them spoke out, they are not, they can't, they don't want to speak up because they feel that they will be victimized? Do you think that?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But the guys is willing to. Some of the guys were willing to speak. I mean, I spoke to some of them last week. We had conversations, and some of the guys would speak, but a lot of them are scared. A lot of them are scared. Look what happened even on the radio last week when Mr. Ellis asked Mr. Robinson if he wanted to speak. He said, "No, I'm good," because we are scared. Listen, you saw in those videos how much equipment parked in my yard, and you see that the government is saying that others are working day and night.
Yes.
And still doing the other work for government too, in the landfill and all those jobs. It is not fair. It is not fair. Even if they're doing the work, they should let us do some of the other jobs as well too. It's not fair.
I will tell you something now, though. You see that landfill problem? The sanitation has equipment that can do the job, and it costs but the equipment needs warm apart. It costs $50,000, and they spend that in 2 days with Carl Williams rather than buy the part to fix it on tractors. Something is wrong there. They had you out there, Sherry, but you ain't got the $7,500 again about, so you had to move you. I'm telling you, that part costs $50,000. And every 2 days that's what Carl Williams the mech on the landfill with the 2 tractors. And government refused to spend $50,000 to fix their own equipment. So something is wrong. You have the equipment. You're not using it because it needed a part. But the part cost $50,000. I would take the $50,000 and don't push by landfill for 2 days and buy the part and install it. Because you see the guy if you look at these Barbados today, the guy who was my shop steward, basically, that was showing the newspaper wrong, he's one of the best mechanics in the place. They're going to work for you there because they're not buying the parts to fix it, because they prefer to give it out to Carl Williams. And I see the thing is, somebody can barely see you on the screen, you're too dark.
My mother left me in the sun too long, brother.
I'm telling you, so you're too dark. That is the problem here. And until we recognize it and call a spade, but you dark. But until we call a spade, and the thing is, people when they hear you saying these things, they say, "Oh, what you gonna talk about race?" Because that is what it is. That is what it is. I know for a fact, and we saw on the thing that you could build a runway in Dominica. You can build a Tantry Road. But airplanes is land on the runway, and the kind of construction you have to do for runways, the kind of impact when the plane lands. It isn't like you driving on the road with a big truck and thing. So the runway has to be sturdy, very strong, resistant to that kind of force when the airplane hits down.
Okay.
And if you can do that for build a runway, if you can build a runway, you can build any road. I am putting that to you. So, but yet still Dominica can get him to build a runway, but Barbados can't get you to build to pave over a carrot road.
A carrot road.
There's madness. It is corruption. It is more so corruption than favoritism, because they know what they will get back. But you see, the small businessmen, the 26 fellas, are now trying to catch up. So they haven't got enough to pass back. So when you could divide $30,000 in 4 and get $30,000 checks, I mean $7,000 checks, one after the next. You fellas can't go $30,000. You will get a little $1,500 here and $1,500 there, but you don't have $7,500 or 30,000 because it was, I understand it is 4 tax that they were getting. So what? So you ain't got that kind of money. So it is corruption.
I
Something needs to be done. I don't care how much you like her. She has to rein in these people that she has with her, or she has to go about her business because we are not getting governance. I remember Glenn telling the people that they're gonna get work. I remember him when he was minister.
Yep.
You get any yet? Apparently, when they can get the work, they had to stop him and find somebody else because he was intent on giving you guys work. So they had to move him because it's not working for you. All for you is when at the end of the year to invite you to the lower court and get some hot dogs on a toothpick and that kind of thing and call it Wally and you feel good.
Yeah.
You want work. That don't feed your families.
Yeah. There's a
I believe
question here. Go ahead, Mr. Cherry, and then I will ask you a question from Paul Gibson. Go ahead, sir.
yeah, I believe when we have elected,
Speak up a bit more again. Just speak up. Yes, thank you.
I strongly believe when we had our black government, it would have been different. I really thought that, and I thought that we would be represented, and I'm very, very disappointed in the kind of representation that we are getting from some of them. I mean, I would like to see who else in the government to get it and let them know, or let the minister know what was done was wrong.
Yes.
And the need to fix it. And if we can't wait to the next program, the need to mobilize us now and to fix this problem. Because listen, the entire Barbados and the world is watching what's happening in Barbados. And I want to thank you for this platform that you have people coming to share. Because what is happening here in Barbados is real. It is real. This is real life. People are hurting. People's houses are being repossessed. People's vehicles. It is real. This is real, real, real. People are suffering. And I beg my Prime Minister to come back home and spend the time among us and fix this problem.
Yes.
Look, I project my life to age 80, but 3 years coming shortly. You have to fix this and to repair this damage. I don't know how you have it, but it needs to be fixed. The truckers need work. Black people need to be employed.
Yes.
Keep us
We need to
busy.
eat.
Keep the crime rate down. Keep us busy. Let me eat. Let me eat the food.
Yeah. Mr. Cherry, there's a question for you. Paul Gibson says, I know the government owes lots of money. Owes you lots of money. Are they releasing your funds? Bottom line, are you getting your money, sir? And not just you, but the others who are owed.
Well, the deputy prime minister is who brought up that, because I don't want to air my laundry in the open. But the deputy prime minister brought it up when she came on her brass tacks. And I think that she was misinformed. And she said she has invoices there from 2001. And I've been calling she all the time. No, yes, I will be calling her about my payments all the time. And I've been hurting. I wrote a lot of letters. I had a discussion. I had lots of meetings or sent a lot of letters to the DNPS, and I just being ignored. No, she said something that a lot of stuff that was wrong, and they need to do the right thing. I wouldn't want to disclose what is owed and how long, but what they're doing is hurting us. My group have done work and we have not been paid. The guys are being hurt. I paid a lot of it out of my pocket, but I can't do no more. and I'm begging them to please here or sit down and have a meeting. But I don't even know what a meeting could do now because the guys are. I mean, everybody's hurting.
They just need to. They just need to
Just do
pay
the
the
right
money.
thing. Do
Do
the
the
right
right
thing.
thing.
Do the
Do the
right
right
thing.
thing.
You
Yeah.
say that you have 30. You got physical space. I think that's the term. And you got $34 million. We could have been paid out of that too with our physical space. The road that want paving, one road that want paving. The people waiting for all these years, they can hold on for another week or month. But no, you take that money, $30 million, and give it to two companies. That is wrong. You're gonna take some of it and pay me and ease my little brothers that in trouble. Mr. Robinson House didn't have to get sell. It's wrong.
You have to do something. You have to do something. Somebody's asking. That says, Mr. Cherry, are you willing to take on any of the road works under the CAP program?
Well, I don't know if it named calf for a particular reason, but I want the cow program. I want the big one. So why do we have to keep getting all those little small things? Huh?
Oh,
Listen,
I
oh,
see.
look,
So
I
that
want the cow
so there
program.
are different types of programs. So the
The
CAP
pro-
is the one. Is a
with the
small
little,
program. Go
yeah.
ahead.
So what we got to take small? I think that if we as a people start to change our thinking, we ain't gonna look at calf stories, then we look at cows. But to answer the question, I'm willing to get any type of work that is given. And as I mean, I know that work is advertised things in the paper for all these years is read advertised in the paper is this new thing that they go on. I heard about now, bonfire. Is go on bonfire. And as long as they come out in the paper, not only me, every Barbadian should get an opportunity to tender. And now they have a place where they can get asphalt from. We're gonna create way more entrepreneurs out there in the asphalt business. And what listen, I find it very strange that in this accelerated middle pay program, none of the major roads is being done, and all the small roads is getting a rush to do. So
Mm.
why don't you give all this small man the little small road? Why are you rushing it? There's more in the bottom than the pedal. Something, something just ain't feel right. I the sewage business, and if it look like sewage and it smell like sewage, I don't want to taste it. I know something ain't right.
You know sewage. You know sewage when you see sewage. You know.
Yes,
But there was another question that was on the screen. I'm gonna try to find it and to ask it, Mr. Franklin. Oh, Mr. Cherry, I have to ask you this question on air. You know, some people say to me, don't bother, with Mr. Cherry. Don't have him on because Mr. Cherry's business, one of the investors in his business, the main investor is Mia Motley. Is that true?
he's, st-
Can
he's,
you?
no,
he's stuck.
you were breaking up. I think you need to repeat that. So
I'm breaking up. Was I breaking up, Mr.
yeah,
Franklin? I want to know
No,
if
but he was stuck, so something was wrong
yeah,
with his system.
something was wrong. Oh, he's dropping out. Okay. He's gonna come back in soon. We want to ask him any questions from Mr.
yes,
Cherry,
but I want you to
guys.
repeat that question.
Yeah, so I'm going to repeat the question for you. The
No,
question that I have
you were
is,
saying, come.
people say to me that, don't listen to Mr. Cherry. Mr. Cherry's main investor in his business, why he could get all those millions, it's because Mia Motley is an investor in your business. Is that true?
Well, look, I will answer it this way. If so, why did I get the $10 million or that $30 million contract?
Yeah, speak up a little more. Come up a little closer.
No, he's answering the question quite well. He said, if that were the case, why he didn't get the $10 million, $30 million contract? Because if she was pumping contract work toward him, and because her own business, she will find her
Wow.
business. So you think me Motley would refuse to give her company work? Remember that, you know? Ah, that they see they always try to pull people down. That's the problem we got here with black people, you know. The white people just take care of one another, you know, they talk about each other among themselves. But we talk about each other among everybody and find every kind of way to say if you're a black man in Barbados today and you become successful, you have to go a boyfriend
Yes.
or you thief it or something so that they never think that you pull yourself up by your bootstraps and basically gonna stop that nonsense. You
Yeah.
know?
So, Mr. Franklin, somebody's actually saying, people are actually saying that Mr. Cherry didn't say yes or no. Is Mia Motley an investor in your business?
Tell the person that if they want to invest, they can come and invest in my business. I can sell them some shares. Tell them that.
Yeah. So, Mr. Cherry, also is Liz Thompson related to you?
I'm a cherry. I don't know. I haven't checked the bloodline or the history.
Because
I'm a
again,
cherry.
these are the reasons that they've given me since I've been in Barbados. Oh, but he is related. Is Liz Thompson's brother? Is what I hear. You know, I was Liz Thompson's brother. So that's how come he gets. You know, he has all these millions. You know, that's what they say. So I had to ask that for myself.
Listen, I I learned the art how to earn money, how to keep it, how to make it work for me, and that is what persons need to do. Let the money work for them. Put it to work. Okay? And that I did.
Yeah.
You with me?
Yeah. Yeah, you make money work for you. Somebody said is asking if Jose is your business.
Yes.
Okay, so that
That's
that that,
that's
that
one of them. Jose and Jose is a group of companies. So there's septic tank, there's construction, there's a lot of different arms of it.
yeah, yeah. Any other questions? Because I think what I love about your presentation tonight, and there are some people who have a problem with it, but I love the fact that you came on and you are honest. And I
Yes.
like the honesty. You come on and say, listen, I am a BLP supporter. All right. And I voted BLP. At the moment, things are hard. Things are hard for us. And I recognize that the party that I voted for, they're not delivering. And you are not the only one. It's just that you're honest about it. And
Yes.
I don't see why people are having a problem with that. You are honest about saying, listen, I supported the party. I believe in Mia Motley. However, at the moment, Mia Motley isn't doing much for Black Barbadians.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That's what you're saying. And Mr. Franklin, I don't see nothing wrong with that. Because there are lots of people who have voted for the BLP who love Mia Motley but won't open their mouth to say the truth of what they're experiencing. And I appreciate you for saying that. And I open my heart to you. And I feel your pain, sir. I really do.
You have a go ahead, go ahead. Go
Go
ahead,
ahead,
No, no,
Cherry.
Mr.
I'm
Cross you
saying too
there.
that I commend him for his honesty, you know, and his courage too, because we have a lot of people who are afraid to stand up. You see what happened to the apostle there? They lock her up, they do all kind of things because she was standing up. That's what they want to do. That if you speak out in Barbados and you they can't buy you off and give or offer people like me 4 different jobs, they're gonna try to destroy you. But instead of doing it me here in the house here, they're talking about um I'm not compliant. Compliant with what? You know, they didn't say. And I have 2 areas of non-compliance. I forget to send them my attorney that says that I change address, and the other one counts um and up to date. They don't do that with their accounts because units don't pay taxes, so they just put them down there. So it isn't. It's just that they want to have something to pull this fella down. because you are not. They can't buy me with jobs. They can't silence me. They send people to my office to set honey traps for me. But the thing is, they forget one thing. I ain't able. So, so honey trapping can hold me now. 20 years ago, maybe, but not now. And so they do everything to to destroy you if you don't comply with what they want. So it isn't anything you do. So you speaking out, look for a backlash.
Oh yeah, I know what happens, and sometimes it comes from your own feeling.
Yes, correct.
Because I
Speak up,
understand.
Mr. Cherry.
I'm sorry. I say
I said,
sometimes it
yes,
comes from your own. I understand what 400 years of slavery could do, and how that
yes,
we were indoctrinated. So sometimes our own is who is to, like how the rule goes, and the, the, sometimes our own that was put it down. But we need to wake up. We need to wake up, and all that will rise up. I forgive them. I forgive them. You with me? Because I know it will come. I know some may be saying negative things on the podcast here. I know some more people going to blow up. I know you're going to pass the road. You're going to hear all sorts of stuff. Who own the business? You know how naked the party going to blow up tomorrow. I hear already a little something about me. I was like, wow. I really get to the big. Better get there. I said, wow,
yes,
man.
yes,
So, but look,
you know,
like
um,
affliction. But your people just get up and your own will get up and speak out and speak all sorts of negative things. But the Lord is my shepherd; I shall not
mm,
want. He
that's
maketh
right.
me to lie down in green pastures. Hallelujah. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. Because God, Yah is with me.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, I love it.
The most
I,
high.
I we,
the,
we, we, we must support Mr. Casual, Mr. Frank. Let me say this, and then I will give the mic to you. We must understand something. I find that we tend to be as people, very vindictive ourselves and the way we treat one another. We love to say "good for you." You should, if something, people will be here right now, Mr. Franklin, and they're like, go ahead, the Marcia Week show, Cousin Franklin. What happens now when they write something in the newspaper about me? What happens when Naked Departure takes me now and put something about Mr. Cherry in there and put lies out there and all these different things? Oh, we always knew. The same people who put you on a pedestal, then they come and kick that pedestal, they kick it down. We do not know how to support each other, and we need to stop it. Here we have 26 black businesses that are basically suffering right now. And Mr. Cherry has taken the bull by the horn, the cow, bull by the horn, and have decided that he's going to speak up about this particular issue. And we are going to start to say which party he's from, who he support, and
Where
all
he
of
get
those
his money
things. And
from?
I think
Oh
that that
my
I
God.
think that that is low. That energy is low. That vibration is low. We need to see the bigger picture and hear what the man is saying. Yes, I supported the Barbados Labour Party. Yes, I support Mia Motley, and that's fine. He's allowed to do that. That's him. He's Mr. Cherry, and that's what he's saying. However, he's saying that they have been doing wrong by the people of Barbados. I respect that. Back to you, Mr. Over to you, Mr. Franklin.
now you see, he said that he supports Mayor. I'm going to tell him something now. Mayor does not support you because the minister that is doing the upfront thing is Santia. The girl doesn't have much brain, but you must remember, Mayor said in St. George North, all big works must come through her.
Mm.
So Santa is only the mouthpiece, the talking head. not the thinking head either, because you can clearly from what she's talking about that she wasn't thinking before she said it. Because I heard some of the things that she said, and she knows nothing about mobilization. Because I work in the ministry, and I sat down in the same room with the building officers and stuff who did the contracts, and some things when they were not there, I had to learn fast and do the things for them. Mobilization is common. People get mobilization fee. I have actually sat down as a clerk in the ministry to take those documents for adjudication to the registry when you're born, because the government will pay you the money, and if you mess up, you have to have insurance or something that the government will get back the money from if you don't do what you're supposed to do. So mobilization is nothing new.
No.
It's been happening. But I did that in the 80s, and I suspect it was happening before me. So I think something that they're making it and that you're asking for in the 80s. You're a young man to me, and it was happening when you were in school. So when they try to make you look foolish and try to say, well, you don't got the money, but there are people that got the money. Busy had enough money, but did he put his money up to build that plant in St. Thomas there for the recycling plant? No, he got a contract. Okay, contract the bank gave you money. What you can do other people like the guy who has bees. Where can I get the bees? He had the skills, he had the knowledge, he has the experience, but no, you get the busy. And then somebody went and steal some copper wire, burn off the rubber or whatever it is around the wire, and it caught fire bees place, and he was at fault. You remember that?
Yes, sad.
It wasn't anything to do with him. Fellas stole them and bent to get the copper, and had to burn off the covering, and it lit his place. Man, and everybody, beggars enough one kill Bino. And Bino was an innocent man, and there's people out there so behind his business, burning down the place, and he was in trouble. And government, everybody jump on this case. Because you're black. I mean, you're black, and you're starting new, and you ain't got them kind of resources that you can give politicians to bribe them. You will continue to be poor. So you got to find some $7,500. That's all I can tell you. Those $7,500 work miracles.
Well, and I would say that the government, I mean, so what the minister was saying, I think was so wrong. Because the government, through the central bank, also have a program that if you have a contract or a letter from the government, you can take it to the central bank and say, I have this job, give me 80% of the money. So if the commercial bank don't give you, central bank will give you. So what the minister was saying, pure rubbish. And if I didn't have the money, you could get the money. And something that she said that I take offense of, that if I want to use money to mobilize some of the Caribbean country,
it can't work.
I had to move out of Barbados, and I'm doing a lot of other work in three other countries. Sorry.
I'm glad you're saying that, because there are people who are thinking that all you're doing is trying to live off of government and so on. And that I'm so glad, and I would love for us black people to stop thinking the worst of each other. You know, I'm just tired of it. Go ahead, Mr. Terry.
We're doing some work in 3 other Caribbean countries.
Yeah.
And one of the countries that we are doing some work in, this is Jose and Jose, not the smaller group. Our fleet of equipment and the amount of work that we are doing and the respect that we have gotten from another government is unbelievable. You know, there's a saying in the Bible: a prophet is without
It's
honor
honor in his own
among
land.
his own people and among his own kindred. And I want to thank God for that opportunity that I'm in that other country. And it is amazing, Marcy. General is, I tell you, it's amazing to see the embrace that you get. I don't have to continue to fight here and raise my blood pressure. You know, it is amazing, but it's not about me. Because what about the ones that can't run? What about those that can't get up and do what I did? What about those that still struggling here? No,
I can
I'm
tell you what.
gonna try to fight for them.
No, what the government wants is that you will go and work for Infra and Carl Williams. But how dare you go out there and try to do business yourself? They want to keep you poor. They want to keep you mendicant. They want to keep you. Look, you see this government, when we had COVID, they walk around the place and take a lot of expired stuff from these merchants that had it that they couldn't sell. Some that ain't had the English writing on it, and put it in bags and get people and think that they get hampered. Wait, if you got money, why are you going to give that money to merchants to buy their stuff when you can give me and I can buy what I want? I mean, even about the same merchant. But you walk around the place because you want to show people that you get handouts. And the thing is, a lot of it spoiled, especially the vegetables. You put them in the warehouse up there, that had the air conditioning thing, and next morning I come back, the place things withered and turned brown and black and all kind of fancy colors. But they wanted to get that old stock from the white businesses and feed it to you. I tell some of these things that were in the bags that they brought around and give to you didn't have language that I could understand. And I could understand a little bit of Spanish. Of course, I could say arroz con pollo, chicken and rice, and that kind of thing. But so it had some characters that didn't even that not even in the Romance languages. Some little Arabic type writings or Gujarati or something. So, and you give those things to people. Mind you, the laws of Barbados says that the things must be labeled in English. So that is why you see some companies when they bring in stuff and they got English writing, they put the writing and stick it on the container because government buy them and hand them out. So you were getting surprises because you said that let me get this guy here, let me get the hot dog the next day and get mashed potatoes because the boy know, and the government did that to its people. To what way? To clear out the old stock from the white businesses they had because some of it was expired already and some was close to expiring. So they bought that stock. And I might not have wanted stock. I might have wanted the money so that I can go and buy soap too. And toothpaste. And my little girls might need that monthly things that you have to get. So what, you're going to give me Kansas this and Kansas that and bags of rice that nobody don't can't remember the name of the place. No, it was wrong. And government continues and people talking, oh, I saw one woman get up and said we should be ungrateful how MOTTLEY give you these things, like MOTTLEY using money. She used the public money to make herself look good.
Yeah.
For people who are not seeing, because it wasn't good. Now, if you're going to spend $1,000 on me, give me the $1,000. Let me spend it on myself. I can still spend it, but I can spend it down cheap side. Because up there, I was in cheap side buying vegetables. Because I don't let my vegetables in cans. And the ladies in cheap side will go and buy them from the farmers. The farmer will go be able to pay his staff, like working for him. But when you go and take the white businesses, what you are doing, a lot of these white businesses have more staff than they need because they are cousins and brothers and sisters who went to school and played the fool and learn nothing, and you go off and work for them. They may like my brother who come out here with baptism and birth and went and find something. No, them is find things for them. So that's also responsibility markup too, And we have to, as black people, help each other.
Yes.
And if we don't help each other, we will always be like this. And we got a black government that is in place. I don't see any Indians in the government. I don't see any white people in the government. I ain't seen the Syrians in the government. I ain't seen the Lebanese. I ain't seen the Chinese. I seen all black people. And black
Correct.
people are getting treated worse than all of those things I just talked about. All the other ethnic groups. Because those ethnic groups are willing to pay. I was an immigration officer and I saw people come here and pay for their citizenship. I remember I caught one fella and but they gave him, but his was immigrant status. I never forget this. And the office I was working in, this registry section because they bring me from the airport because they had to speak harshly to somebody. So they put me in the office. And they put me to work with the files. And the guy came and says, Frank, can you get this fella's file? I said, you ain't got none. He said, you ain't got none. You got to stamp your passport, so you got immigrant status. I said, look and see what the stamp dated. The stamp dated that he had immigrant status in 1972. Immigrant status only came in 75. Check the law. And then the man said, I pay so and so too much money. What am I going to go back to India? He said, I pay so and so. I'm not going to call the name to embarrass his children. But that's what's been happening. They were paying for it. So there's people that used to pay for what they want, and they have a culture of paying, and we have a subculture, officials in Barbados, of receiving. That is why we can't get integrity in public life in place. That is why somebody could be passing about $7,500 check, because you have to fit into the culture. And that is what is in Barbados. Or this place is like Sicily. We are too corrupt.
Yeah.
And people think it is it is business. They're not great business people. They're great bribers.
Yeah.
And
Go
I'm not.
ahead,
I'm
Mr.
not.
Cherry, and then I know we've over, we had you here longer than
It's
I
okay.
had asked for you to come on. So go ahead, sir, and then we close out this section.
It's okay, and it's 9 now. It's way past my bedtime. We go to sleep early. It's 7 o'clock. I'll be asleep. But I'm not against. I'm not racist in any way. I'm not against white people or people that doesn't look like me getting work in Barbados. All I'm saying is that it really needs
You want some?
to be fair. If there's 98% of us, we need to get a little bit more bigger share of the work. And the work need to be divided. We need to be fair. And this program, this accelerated, as they call it, million program, shows that it's not fair. There are $30 million. There are three companies divided in three. This has. I mean, I was working on the the South Coast Suez project, and the work was divided in three companies. So why can't they divide the work equally too? I mean, and that's what they say they would have done. I mean, a matter of fact, we're supposed to be getting 80%, and they're getting 20%. Or I mean, we were here waiting for we've been here waiting for work for so long. The work need to share. It's not about. I'm not fighting about black and white. I'm saying share the work, please.
Yes.
Share the work. Give us an opportunity that we give all of us an opportunity that we can leave for our children and our children's children as well.
But you are speaking black and white because the mission they work with black people.
Very
But
You
nice.
know,
I understand what he's saying.
I know what he's saying. I know what he's saying. But what he isn't saying is black people. But that is the problem. The black people are getting the work.
Yeah.
I am not afraid to say it. Because I can see it. The black people are the fellas who will be out there with the big long spreaders pushing around the hot mix. While the white fellas wear white shirts and white hats and stamp on the back and wait till you finish do it. You are the guys who do the actual work. And if you can do the actual work and you have the expertise, because you have the expertise, you want to build around there. So you have the expertise, so you can get some of those same fellas that pushing around the barber green or whatever they're using to level the roads with. And let me tell you something. They don't build roads any better than anybody else. I remember seeing this for myself. A container truck passing Carmel School, heading to the junction there, and they had just finished the roads. A couple of days earlier, they finished the roads, and when the container applied brakes, the road come along with the container truck, and they had to rush and fix it back again. The road was done so poorly. I don't know who did it. I just know that it was a company doing it, and that when the brakes apply, the Barber Green top came along with it outside the common mirror. I saw that, but because I'm not technology driven, I didn't take up my phone and do nothing. I forget about the phone that I had outside me in the car. You know, so now let's say that happened with an airplane that you build the runway on. That means that you're better than them.
Yeah.
But you're better. But you got to be 100 times better to get a tenth of the work or any of the work at all, and they are not good at all.
It's
And they
hard.
get in the majority of work. Yesterday evening, I'm leaving Bridgetown after 5 o'clock, going up Baxter's Road, and I see fellas in the reflective jackets, Mark C.O. Williams, paving one of those side roads off of Baxter's Road down inside there. It ain't fair. It is not fair.
Not fair.
Yeah. And that's what Mr. Cherry is saying. It is not fair. Mr. Cherry, I was just and this is what I mean, you know, that we have to continue to support you. I'm being told that on they are in, I think it's St. James, and where, you know, they are, they somebody said they're cussing you on the stage, the political stage there, in St. James, Mr. They said one of the ministers, I won't call any name because I didn't hear the cussing, and I just want you to know, Mr. Cherry, that, you know, we're going to stand by you. You spoke out. They don't want you to speak out, but you're speaking out, not just for yourself, but for everybody else. All right. So God bless you,
Yeah.
and thank you. It's past your
Shalom.
bedtime.
Shalom.
Thank you
Okay.
for sharing with us. Thank you so much.
Okay. Shalom. General, have a wonderful night and keep
Yeah,
up the
good
good
night.
work.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Cherry, for coming on. Very enlightening discussion. Really very,
You,
very enlightening.
you
Uh,
me heart wrenching.
heart wrenching, you know. And Mr. Franklin, I have a bag here. I know Lumumba is on, and I'm hearing the people are asking for Kimar. I want to know where Kimar is myself.
Oh,
And
I know where he is.
ah
I left him in St. Philip, and I
ah
told them, both Kim and I can't be here, so I gone. You know, because they're trying to revitalize the Democratic Party, get it going, and Kim Harris is a good man to have around. So he is there, and I said no, well, it's Kimar or me or Kimar and me, but it can't be night. It can't be night. They want it can't be both of us gone at the same time. So
yes.
I asked them to speak first, so that I can get down here and do my prime duty.
Yes, yes, yes. Because I didn't hear from him today, and so those of you who are asking for Kimar, just know that this program is open every night for Kimar. Okay. Sometimes he's able to come, sometimes he's not able to come. Okay, but this there's an open door policy here for Kimar. But before Mumba, I have this bag here, Mr. Franklin. I have this bag, right? And this is not the red bag like what they had at they had this red bag in the election. We pull out this red bag with all of these things. But this is a bag here, Mr. Franklin, with about $100 worth of groceries. Believe it or not, this is what people are able to buy with $100 in Barbados. Mr. Cherry was here speaking on behalf of black businesses. I'm here talking about black families, right? And I want Lumumba to jump into this before we talk about what he came here to talk about. But this is the thing here, guys. So when people come on and they say, "Oh, you all are not talking good about the country," it's hard to talk good about the country when we're hungry and we cannot buy anything that is inside this bag. There's no vegetable in this bag, and we don't have any fruits in this bag. Let's be real. Let's be real. Things are hard in Barbados. Things are hard in Barbados. Huh? What can you buy? You go to the supermarket, you buy one small bag of rice. It's about $15. Two, some people all they can buy is 2 tins of mackerel. Mackerel is now $5 per can of mackerel. Huh? Let's be real. Two sardines, you probably get them for about $5 or more, depending on the brand. A chicken, one chicken is 25. There's no chicken in this bag here. There's no chicken in the bag. Okay, one chicken $25. A flour $7 for like a bag of flour. Potatoes about $10 for a little bit, especially sweet potatoes. Anything that is healthy, we can. This is how we're living in Barbados. I want those of you from overseas understand. In here, it's all we have is carbohydrates and the bad kinds of carbohydrate. That is what is happening to us here in this country. Sugar, a small bag of sugar, about $7. Eggs, $15. If bread and biscuits, even just one little bread and a few little biscuits, about $15. Right? Yeah. This is what. Can you imagine a family of three? Yeah. A
I can
family of
imagine.
three. What they have their food bill is about going to be about $300 per week. A family of three in this country, because our chicken, the chicken is $25 for a small chicken. $12.50 US. Understand that. Lots of diabetes and hypertension carry in this bag here. That is why we can buy in Barbados diabetes and hypertension. So you tell the traveling prime minister, you let that traveling prime minister understand. And this show, we're not on here go to talk about, oh, she's doing this for the people in. I'm talking about climate change. We can't eat climate change. We cannot eat climate change. So we're not talking about no climate change. We're hungry. We're malnourished. It hurts,
Marcia,
Derek. It hurts.
Marcia, one of my families is a family of three. So I know exactly what you're talking about. You know? I think, one of my, the people I deal with, one of them is a family of three. And that little bag that costs $100 don't last a week. Don't last a week. That's the reality. And I'll tell you something. The prices in Barbados are too high for the value, and I talk about what they're paid for them, because the markups in Barbados are extremely high. And government refuses to control the markups for these people. You can get stuff, and I can testify to this because it happened to me. I went to St. Lucia, my home away from home. That's where my heart came from. And so I used to go down before COVID. I would be down there every year. And I go to the Pine Hill Day juices are cheaper in Castries than they are in Bridgetown. Yeah, that's a fact. Things made at Collins Limited, Caroline Laboratory, which is Collins Limited, are cheaper in St. Lucia, and far cheaper, because one item was $7 and the other one was $7.30, and another one was $9 something, but they cost $12 Barbados. But I'm talking about EC. So our markups, they price things in Barbados not for what they're really worth, but what the market will bear. How much money they can extort out of you for the item. Things that you can get in St. Lucia, chicken, far cheaper. And we keep saying, I don't understand how come the feed for Barbados is so expensive, and the people in St. Lucia can get chicken that is so much cheaper than Barbados. And I'm talking about, I bet you get a chicken leg. It's a real leg, not these little things they use, little puny things. And it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And what's been happening recently in Barbados is that one Massey now has been able to corner the market in Barbados by importing and distributing at the same time. And Barbados supplies the foreign exchange to buy for the other islands. And we are suffering as a result. This
Yeah.
government does not care anything about what's happening to Belgians. They care at one thing, and that time is election time. But Belgians should be saying, well, look, when we needed you, you were not there. So we don't want you now at election time. But no, they get all this hype with this music and this walking up and jumping up and stuff and get the people head wild, get them a red t-shirt and a $100 bill fall up in it. And you want that $100 bill to last you for 5 years. Because that is the mentality that's prevailing in this country right now. You need to open your eyes and see, well, look, if you treat me bad for 4 years and a half, and then after that 4 years and a half, you call elections, and in 3 weeks you give me some music, and you do put in South cross Bashar Road, and then I can go and vote for you.
Yeah.
Then to go through that same suffering again for another 4 years. Business wake up. These
Yeah.
people don't mean good, don't mean well for the people in this country.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least not the people that look like them.
Yeah. You know, it's tough on families, and I really wanted to talk about that, and we're going to keep pushing that and talking about that each night, because not just the businesses, but I mean these black businesses, they are part of families, the business owners, and we're saying that it's tough for us. But let me welcome Lumumba Batson on the program tonight. Lumumba has been one of those fighters, and we have been working together in the trenches for many, a long time. And he's, the great thing about this, Mr. Franklin Lumumba, is Rastafari, and I tell you, we work so well together because we understand that we need to find what we have in common, and we find what we have in common, and we work on that. He and I, Lumumba, you might have to turn off your something. We're hearing me coming.
I got a fan run. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me see.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
How's that?
Yes, it's turning off the other. I was saying that you and I, we find what we have in common, and we work with that. Bongo the same time. We've never had any discussion and quarrel, right, about religion, right, Lumumba?
That's a fact.
We never,
That's
when we meet up to talk, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the issues. We know that we believe different things. So we're not going to come and we're going to butt heads on that. And that's where I'm trying to move us along in our discussions. That we find what we have in common and work with that. We can accept Mr. Cherry. We can, he comes on, he says, listen, I'm a BLP supporter. That's fine. What is the issue we have in common? The issue that we have in common at the moment is that the government is not doing right by them, as black people, black businesses.
Right.
And I think that is what we have in common. Now, you're on the show, and, because I wanted to talk to you, we're going to have to talk in code because I don't want them to take down the YouTube channel. But we want to talk about those people in Barbados who are still suffering from that thing they got in their arm. Mr. Franklin, I'm getting so many messages, of people. I know people who have lost loved ones, people who are still sick. People have to keep going to the hospital. People who have bags of, tablets, medication that they have to take in order to live. The sadness over this thing is real, and it hurts me that I can't deal with it properly. So we talked about this evening where you might be able to do some of those interviews on your show at 12 o'clock each day, right? It's 12 o'clock?
Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
Yes, I'm sorry. It's not each day anymore. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, okay? It's the Mumba show, which is called Burning Spear. And he's on, it's a powerful time for an hour. And so some of those people I'm going to filter over to your show, to Burning Spear, so that they can talk freely. I have to save this channel for Barbados. I have to save the rest of Barbados. But what is it you want to say to those people who are suffering?
Well, I remember in the beginning of this whole what they call a pandemic. I saw the our leader actually telling people to come and don't listen to those conspiracy theorists that this is safe, this is good. She even went so far as to be going down by the clinics and ushering the people in to take it. But now, after that's over, and now we are seeing the adverse effects from it. Everything just there's silence. I also heard her say that that if anybody dies from it or injured from it, that the government will compensate them. I've been hearing that some
We'll take
people
care of them.
will take care of them, right? Um, but now
If it die.
all of a sudden, people dropping down all over the place, and even from amongst myself, I have quite a few associates that's no longer in 3 years gone, and all of them that's gone was um from the same thing. So but nobody is coming and saying anything now. It seems like, as I said, I think that both parties, um, D's and B's, are being silent on this, and I don't understand why. I mean, people are hurting. People call me every day. People telling me how they feel in their bodies. I can't do anything for them because I'm not really a doctor, but people are really scared. People want to know what to do, and nobody is saying anything. I even met a sister that she actually went through the process of writing, going through the channels that she was told she have to go through, and still um she haven't received not one response from anyone. So I think we need now there's a need for people that's out there to get over the fear, and to speak out, because we need the people themselves
Yeah,
who is being
can you hold
oppressed.
a second? Can you hold a second? Let me just address something here because I think that some people, and turn off your mic a little bit here. I think that there's sometimes some people on the show, they are not listening. So somebody's asking, saying that we're talking about conspiracy theories on the jobs, and do you have doctors on here, virologists, and so on the show? No, we're not talking about conspiracy theory. I am talking about doctors' reports that are in my phone from doctors. Please, please. And this is why whenever these and I'm like this about it, Lumumba, because there are people who are actually sick and are scared to speak about it because of comments like this. And this is what I'm saying. Will we just start listening to each other? I have somebody whose husband died. These are doctors' reports. I don't come on here with anything like that. I'm not going to come on here and say things that that's not true. I asked them for their doctor's reports, and I try to send it on to the relevant persons. And for your information, and those who are calling saying these people are not really sick, that's really what you're saying. It's not right, because you're pushing them back in a corner, and they're sick, they're suffering. It is not right. Stop it, please. It's not fair. And there's some of those sick people who have lost their husbands are right here in this chat. Can we be kind to each other, please? Go ahead, Lumumba.
Yeah, it says, yeah, family. As I said, that we need to get together with the people now they beginning to come out. They want to speak. And also I want to say something to you too, Marcia. You're gonna get these kind of things happening. Sometimes it's good because sometimes people would like to sidetrack you from what you really doing, right? And if you got to answer every negative comment, you know the show would be you just answering
There's some
negative
of them
comment.
like this because
Yeah,
I know that
yeah,
there are people, there are victims who are watching. So that
right.
on here, so I wanted to address that. Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, okay, right. So what I'm saying that now the people that's willing to come out and I'm asking people because I'm not I didn't take it, so I could only speak on behalf. I you know, so those people that did take it and they're having any kind of adverse effects from it, they need to just contact you, contact me, contact people that care, contact people that really care. And maybe we could start getting something together. Maybe we could have a press conference with them there to show the world that because Barbados is trying to give the impression that the only place this thing did not affect people was right here in Barbados because there's nobody speaking out. I mean, every death that's happening now, or excessive death as they call them, where they say, "Oh, that person that was a heart attack, that was a high blood pressure, that was," but that no, but that person also had that in them too. You understand what I'm saying? I had two partners. Well, one and his brother died. One died March 1st, and one died January 1st, and one died March the 4th. I mean, 3 days later. 3 days later. I mean, it's real. It's happening real right in front of my face. So they can't speak for themselves, no. But we the living, we can speak for those who are already gone and those who may be a little afraid. We have to give them the courage to come out and speak because if we don't do it, they will continue to show these advertisements and show these things telling people, well, a new virus coming, so it's time to come and take it. You know, we understand what's taking place right now, and we need to address it. So I would like to thank you, Marcia, for even having the forum to, or that people have that kind of faith in you to call you and to say certain things. God, we need to get this information out and we need to get it out like now.
Yes. So, guys, you can reach out to me once you're able to, as I've been doing with the others. We want to see your doctor's reports, etc. So that those we can verify that is happened. We're not doctors, but that we will provide a space for you to tell your story. We're looking at doing a press conference with those that are affected. And so, feel free to, to contact us, 236-7000, 236-7000, right? 236-7000. You can always contact me and then we will put you onto the right channels. We've been told by very good sources that that there are some people who have received some kind of compensation, but they're told to keep quiet about it. And while others are writing, and we have the clip from the PM who said that if someone falls ill from the injection, or if they die, that they would be taken care of. Some people are being taken care of and some are not, and so we have to speak about that. Okay, so that's important. Well, Lumumba, thank you so much for coming by, and I will pass on those names to you, and we can tune in Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on Facebook. Lumumba is on at 12:30 in the day. 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 12 p.m., 12 o'clock, 12 noon. All right. Thank you, Lumumba. Thank you. 1 second. You are muted.
No, I said thank you.
Yes. Okay. God bless.
All right. Okay, brother Caswell. All right.
Yeah, good night. Nice seeing you, my brother.
Yeah, nice seeing you too.
Yeah. You know, Mr. Franklin, without us calling the name of this thing, you know, the whole issue of these persons who are really sick, and some people have died from complications from that. You know, I think that is something that those people, they too need a voice. You know, we've got to give them a platform to speak. So if you can talk about it a little bit, but not mention that word, because we want to make sure we keep the platform safe.
If you look, like Lamamba said, the only place in the world that don't acknowledge that people were injured by that substance they got is Barbados. We hide everything. In Australia a few days ago, remember I was speaking to you in the coming out at the end of the show last time, where the courts have no rule that these things it was wrong to administer them or to force people to take them,
Hmm.
and another going to be a lot of court cases out there no, because you just need one court to say it was wrong, but a lot of people were injured. As a matter of fact, I've been told that when you're getting these blood tests and stuff, know that they can determine that you had it by the color of your blood.
Hmm.
The color has changed. Today I got a cut on my finger and it was so pretty and red, it wasn't funny. Because now that stuff ain't going anywhere near me. The problem here is that we were not involved in the manufacture or anything. We were just involved in the guinea pig stage. And no, we do not want to acknowledge it, because to acknowledge it is to acknowledge your complicity with the people in the outside world who wanted to make guinea pigs of us. And that alone should have forced the government out of office. But Belgians are too nice, and Belgians, like I remember hearing Belgians talking about, oh my God, but government, yeah, the men qualify for the pension and all kind of nonsense. But you're gonna let people kill you and suffer you because you want them to get a pension and then to take away yours. We and I'll tell you something, Marcia. The people, the naysayers on this program, they are sent to be naysayers. You forget that I was a party Barbados, the party for a long time. I know how they work. They give you instructions to call in on the calling program and talk about anything. Because if you are talking, other people can't get in to criticize you. So that is where you get people coming in and talking all kind of rubbish, because they were instructed. Yeah, somebody say your blood is black like old blood. The QS is not taking blood from anyone who had the you know what. So I don't know where the misinformation is. You know, but we have to stand up to these people that form the government, who allow us to be abused, and stop seeing yourself as only victims. Turn that around and come out fighting. Come out and stand up for yourself, for your children. You mean to tell me you can live your life on your knees? I don't mean in prayer. I mean on your knees, begging and bowing and scraping to people who you elevate, mind you, because them anybody otherwise, you know. Just remember that there were not anybody before you came along. Before that, you give them a vote, and they give you a vote. They come to your house and they say, "We are your servants. We want to be your servant." And as soon as they're sworn in, they become masters, and they treat people badly. We need to compensate those people who we know, and there are people who have been injured by this nonsense, and the government knows. The government knows that, like for instance, sometime last year when they had some 3 young children died at the same time, around the same week. And when you look into the computer, All of them had the same batch number of that infection they gave them in their arm. All three. Government knows that. They should have been saying to the people who give them or who donated it or who they bought it from, you messed up my people. We want compensation for the people, for the families that hurt by you. But you know why they can't do that? They agreed with the people that they will not seek compensation from them if it happens. So you can peddle your nastiness, you can peddle your stuff, and the government decide to sell you out. But if the government take that responsibility from the manufacturers, then they have to accept the responsibility and compensate the people for it. Because they are the people who introduced this item. And if they have indemnified the suppliers, then they have to take the responsibility and compensate people. People need to take them to court. Take them to court and let a judge tell you that you're wrong. I know you're not, because there is some liability. You did not take this thing with wide open eyes. They bamboozle you, they lie to you, they give you all kind of information to force you to take this thing because they needed that 70% that Biden was talking about. That if the people get 70% of the population, they will get money from the US. So they wanted that money. So they made sure that we had 70%, so they can be compensated from that fund. I see Kimar is here for the last 15 minutes, and then Marcia, I'm going to
Yeah, so he
give
can.
thing and good mark for Kimar.
Yeah, Kimar, good night, Kimar. Listen, people sending me messages here and people putting on here that you ditched the show. You know I talk straight. That you ditched the show. People, the man say he hear a word on the street and he up in Florida. Listen, I hear on my phone the people sending me the messages to say, did you hear Kimar ditched the show? Good night, Kimar. How are you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah, good night, good night. I don't know what that ditch part, but um, nevertheless, I am here. I went out to St. Philip to hear Caswell this evening.
Yes, he told
Um,
us. I didn't know where they were getting their information from. And people flood. You should see my WhatsApp. You should see my
yeah,
WhatsApp. And you know the people going to kill me for you. Where is Kimar? I said, well, I don't know, Kimar. I know if you were going to leave the show, you would have told me something. But the people are
yeah.
telling me, the man said, I up in Florida and I hear that Kimar did your show.
No, no, no. But last time I was out late. Last two times I didn't get home early enough. Um, and then tonight again when I went to St. Philip to you listen to Caswell, and then after how things go already, so no got home and I'm here, no ditching over here. Um,
Yeah. I know you normally would go and listen to Kazoo. That's something that normally happens. So once I knew, first of all, I knew Caswell was going to be late, and once he said you were up there, I knew what was going to happen. Yes, but I didn't. I don't know if you got to hear Mr. Cherry was on, and so on. With all the woes of the black community, etc. What's on your mind?
yeah, well, interesting times, but again, I've been hearing this black versus white debate going on in Barbados my whole life, and nothing has changed. Um, we don't really hear much about race in Barbados nowadays. It is more about classism, black on black war. I live in a time where black on black war is more prevalent than white versus black. Um, so I didn't. Well, I thought that we kind of moved or made some type of progress within this area. However, that's not the case. We continue to practice this type of conservative behavior, and as far back as those times in the 1950s, the Barbados party was doing the same thing, right? And that is why our Barrow and some other persons had to part ways because of this same type of conservative behavior, right? And you now have a leader of the Barbados Labour Party, who some people tend to underestimate as it relates to these issues. Um, we see the progress of the white community, we see the progress of the Indian community, but we see a degradation of the conditions of the black people in the country. Um, this should have been more prevalent to people based off how COVID was handled. When the government shut down all of the small supermarket and shut out all of the small businesses out of getting in government contracts and work to give them to the big businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This,
Except the small supermarkets in St. Joseph. All of them open. Don't
yeah,
forget that.
yeah. Um, all of the big tour companies got all of the work. But we tend not to understand how coercive these type of actions are in society because we marched against a black government to pull it down. Uh, NSRL detached, right? NSR mostly impacted people who import goods, not really the consumers. And I heard the Sutherland standing next to a white gentleman in a supermarket, and the white gentleman was saying that the high prices in the supermarket were not as a result of NSRL, but the BLP campaign all over Barbados and gave us the impression that the high prices were a result of NSRL. And we marched to repeal that tax, and people were paid, workers were paid to go there to repeal that tax again. But this has been the nature, and again, I should go back to Dwight Sullivan. He said when he was the Minister of Small Business that he wants to level the playing field. When
Mm-hmm.
there were conversations about NASCO and how NASCO was handling, how NASCO was getting along, and the smaller importers of cars were undermining the market, and how he had to level the playing field. Right? Again, the same type of race relations and the economic elite in the country dominating because you have puppet ministers who get donations and campaign financing from these people who have self-esteem issues as well, who believe that white is right, right? And nothing good can come from being black. And these are black people, by the way. But
Mm-hmm.
these type of actions, now, when you practice them in economics, they create a very segregated society. This has been Barbados from the time it was born, way before it was born. This is why we rioted for better working conditions. You had the potato riots happening up, and nothing seems not to be changing. We had only black governments in Barbados, but they don't seem like they don't matter which side get in B, D, E, G, F. The status quo remains the same, and you have people coming into Barbados leapfrogging and jumping ahead, way assisted by the government again in front of the majority black population, right? So we need a radical change in that respect. I believe governance should be for all, but I don't support the idea of the moneyed class and those persons who have wealth and access to privilege continuously getting privilege when they don't need it, right? Continuously getting contracts to people who are already millionaires or through the public purse. How many persons in specific communities of a specific hue were made millionaires out of government contracts, right? Many of them, they didn't get out there and work. They didn't have to go there and get work. These government people continue to give them work because you know what? Kickback.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
7,005
Yeah.
a
You know,
pop.
Kimar, you're saying that you knew that this is something you know since you were a child. And when I was doing the Barrow movie, I started to research. I would have to research both the BLP, DLP, and the whole history. And honestly, when I got to Grantley Adams and I saw what happened it's Clement Payne, and the whole thing, I was so turned off from the foundation of, honestly, I'm going to say it now, the BLP party. I was turned off because it seemed like it was a party that supported the white establishment. That's what it appeared to me. But let me ask you, what do you suggest? Because you're saying this is what you know since you were a child. Adrian Hines is saying we don't talk about it enough. What can we do? Where do we
Well,
even begin?
but it's interesting. We had a situation where Trevor Prescott got in Parliament talking about white shadows again, right?
Mhm.
If you remember political history, Don Blackman, he spoke about white shadows as well, right? And if we remember, Trevor Prescott as Minister of Environment made a gentleman, a white gentleman, uh, had to come and apologize to the public for some he was dumping somewhere and he had to come apologize. And soon after Trevor Prescott was fired as a minister, right? And he said that it was those white shadows that got him fired. And he got it in Parliament and did an entire tirade about people who said that they would go to the ends of the earth to get him out of Parliament because he represents for the masses and the black population. Which I want to argue that point.
Hold a minute, Kimar. Let's clarify that because you're going so fast for people. We because I had a half hour for you, so you still get back the half hour. Let me ask you something. You are saying that I remember when he went in Parliament and was this the time he was Trevor Prescott? I talked about the white shadows, but he was talking about a certain company that was pushing down. They were planting trees on the beach or pushing down coconut trees. Is that
Right.
connected?
I think it was the same guy who owns Savvy on the day. They were building, planting trees or whatever on over on the beach mark, right? So they were stepping over the authority. He intervened as Minister of Environment to push down the trees,
Ah, okay. hmm And
right?
and was it out of that he was talking about the white shadows, or it is that it was two separate incidents?
Well, it was that because remember he was fired, and I personally when he called a meeting, a public meeting after at the Israel Level Foundation, and I went down there to hear what was happening, right? And when I got there, he didn't show up obviously, but David Commission showed up, and let's just say me and David Commission had a ding dong tit for tat, cast for cast battle about that particular situation because they were coming in there seeking to defend the prime minister, and they were saying that Trevor was fired because he was continuously speaking up and stepping on the toes of the white shadows,
Mm.
right? And my point was, in this day and age, when you're supposed to have black power people, Prescott's supposed to be a black power man, and Commission supposed to be fighting for black people and all these things. Sat down and said nothing, but was in a silo trying to get support from people to go there and put pressure on their own government that they continue to collect salaries from. They want us to go there and berate the prime minister and whoever for causing Prescott to be fired with whatever action, right? But they, as the representatives for the Black Power movement, who would go up to the Buster statue every emancipation and put on these big speeches and all that, they continue to sit down and take the financing from these people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then want to come up there and put on theater like they're for blacks and they're for representing black issues, but taking campaign financing from the same. So when they influence policy, when they influence politics, that's how you end up with people like Prescott being fired. Right?
I remember that very, very clearly because I brought Mr. Prescott on my show. I did. And people thought that but I saw through what they were doing and I started to speak out on my personal Facebook page. And I brought Mr. Prescott on, and I remember that meeting that you were going to. They were trying to get me to go there because the new commission was coming to give me a tongue lashing at that meeting. So that's why I was listening carefully to you, and I didn't show up. I didn't show up. I heard that you came, and they said that I have no place. I shouldn't be saying this, and I shouldn't be saying getting involved, etc. So it's good that you actually went. Somebody on the screen is saying here, Kimar, that Liz Thompson on TV had put a white Goddard in his place for making, to my mind, racist statements in modern Barbados. I think she got into trouble for it. So somebody's alleging that this happened. Do you have any recollection of this, or is it,
That
do you
might have been
understand?
before my time, so I don't recall that particular incident. But it is very interesting incident. But I tend to be very cautious about these race conversations,
Mm-hmm.
because I know the extent people can go to basically convolute and put things out there that are not exactly true about what you're saying, right?
Yes.
I love black people, I love white people, I love all types of people, right? But when we talk about justice now, social justice and economic justice, even political justice, most of the wrongs that have been perpetrated on Barbados society has been perpetrated by black government, not white people,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yes, there may be some influence behind the scenes, but that
That's
influence
the point.
comes from the fact that we still live in a Caribbean society that has the scourge of slavery still impacting on it to this day, right? We still have issues of self-esteem. We continue to support all types of systems, a banking system, a economic system, a political system, a legal system that perpetrates racism. But the racism has now been colored in by classism, which is again black on black crime, right? I've never had any issues with any white people in Barbados. I went to this American school, lots and lots of white people. Like I studied tourism and travel. I worked in hotels. I've interacted with some of the richest people in the world. I worked at Sandy Lane, right? There were many instances of racism, but the higher up you go, there's less and less and less racism happening at that level. People respect you for your intellect, or you can contribute. Not saying that they're all good or that they're all bad, right? But my thing here is we need as black people that have black leaders to think to I sometimes blame us because of the people we put up there to serve us, right? We have people of impeccable character who can serve this country without kowtowing and kissing the boot of certain people, right? It has happened before, but now you put people in place with self-esteem issues who don't understand who they are, who don't understand who put them in the position they are, and they believe that they are there to serve the economic elite and to continue this narrative of trickle down economics by making the rich richer. And in Barbados and in Caribbean, it just happens that most of the people who are rich are white, right?
Yeah.
But if they were black, the same people would continue to make them richer because it's not so much about skin color per se, it's about money, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the convo has faded from a black versus white to who has more money and who has more power and influence to be able to make things happen. I'm sure that if Cherry and Robinson were paying out kickbacks a million, they would have gotten more contracts, right? So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Well,
let me
it's
say
like
something.
you were hearing Mr. Franklin on that point there about kickbacks. Go ahead, Mr. Franklin.
You know, Kimar is right. You know, the people, like for instance, cost you less, got all kind of concessions to build their supermarket, to buy the shelves, to develop their property. And Andrew Bynor did a similar thing to cost you less. In Emerald City, they call it. You get a cent in concessions. And cost you less is from Canada. Andrew Bynor is a black man. Cost you less people are white. So, you know, so sometimes it doesn't depend on if you are up there with them, it depends on the kickback. Because I'm sure if Andrew Bynum was kicking back, he would have got concessions. And I give him that much. You know? He is, and the thing is, he worked with the white people and he was able to develop his businesses because I remember he started with David Seal. And he grew. But he grew in spite of the government. You know, the government didn't help him in any way. They were looking for him to fail. And there's one other thing though, like Kimar said, people respect you for your intellect. Not necessarily. They want, because you have that intellect and they don't have it, they pay you for it. But the slightest thing that happens, in my experience, all those fellas with a great intellect, when the time comes, they get rid of them. When they are able to teach the people who employ them how to do it and what to do, you're not supposed to show them anything, but you gotta always have a secret. You know, I represented a man once who did, for a company in Barbados, he did yeoman service. He was there, and then they fired him. Well, they intervened, and they had to turn and pay him back $200,000 in compensation. He wasn't going to get a cent, but he was a black man. He knew his stuff. And this company now was taken over by French people, and they brought in their French people and thing, and all the respect they had for him when they first came evaporated. Now, all he was trying to do is to give black subcontractors work that we got fired for. I'll call the name one these days, but they can't do me and they don't drink the rum.
Somebody here is saying that Yakimar isn't correct on the about the respect for intellect. They near destroy Hillary Beckles of the Mutual Affair book. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, but where is he know? But where is he know? That was the. But where is he know?
Hillary Beckles got bought off. One of the few people at the Mutual that ain't getting nothing out of it is me. I went there and got bad. As a matter of fact, that's how I met David Ellis. Because he said he heard about me, he heard my name mentioned because somebody came to the door and said, they held the meeting before 4:30, so the black people couldn't go to the meeting. And we came up with this plan that I can go up there and I can talk to the black people turn up. So I talked all over my face when I look back, I saw a whole sea of black people then. And before he came to me and he said to me, young man, you sail so close into defamation and then sail right back out. And because I was one of the few people, I was up there, a matter of fact, I went by a policy. When I had the first, what do you call it? The first affair, the mutual affair, the first time they had one, I had a policy, and they wanted again this black people thing, so I went by one. So the next time I had it was there, it was shareholder, policyholder, then boy, your dicks get better there. But they bought off the other people. And I heard David coming. A woman came to the door and she said, Caswell are there? And just called it David Ellis. And then she said, oh yeah, she said, but I'm gonna bother because Caswell getting Caswell getting back at the place. And he wanted to meet who this Caswell was. Because he didn't know me at the time. These people, they use you. And Beckles is just a used person.
Yeah. Guys, I know it's 10:07, but it's like we're going right in. The chat is going. I'm here reading the chat is going. Okay, Miss McLean has a comment here, and then I will read it. She said, "No, they did not buy off the other people. I was very much part of that issue." So she's saying that not everybody was bought off. Yeah. Mm.
I was one of those other people that wasn't bought off.
Yes. Well, folks, this is where we end tonight. And I want to remind you about our book. Remember, we're starting our book club, and so there we're reading a book a month. All right, and the book we're reading is A Dying Colonialism. Let me see. How many of you got the book already? If you're interested, I actually found I don't know if it's legal, so I'm just gonna say it and you can check it out. I didn't look into it properly, and if it was the entire book, could have been a chapter of the book, a PDF on Google. But I'm ordering a copy just so you know, in case you think that I'm trying to tell you to rip off the book. But there are sections of the book. I think copyright allows you to be able to get sections of the book, of books, and you can get some chapters online. But it's A Dying Colonialism. And Caswell, you remember the author? It slipped my mind.
Friends, something.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it now. I don't know why it's not in my mind. I started reading it and it's excellent. Marsha Hines suggested that to us, and I've started reading, and it's wonderful so far. And so I'm encouraging everybody to. I know $50 is not easy. Franz Fanon, and if the our technical person, yes. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Those are putting up Franz Fanon, and it's A Dying Colonialism. All right. And I want to, Mr. Calvin Mackenzie, I thank you so much for the list. I didn't get a chance to look at it as yet, so that's why you didn't get a response from me. But thank you very much for the list. I know you would have some good books on there. But this is the one we're reading now, and we want some of you to be able to come on, man, and give your reviews of the book, right? So it's A Dying Colonialism by Franz Fanon, all right? Thank you all for joining us tonight. Kimar, it's a pleasure to see you. Before the people then kill me and crucify me, that you weren't on the show. And it's good to see you. And we had a great show. We had over 1,500 people on tonight. Mr. Franklin, it's always a pleasure to have you, sir.
Yeah.
And thank you for rushing from there to come. Thanks to Apostle Margaret Breedy for jumping right in there. We had an awesome show and, education session there with Anderson Terry. Regardless of how we see it, I think he was honest, and that is the kind of, I love the fact that he says, you know what, I'm a BLP supporter, but I'm not happy. And I think that makes it very authentic. Thank you, Dr. Sherry. Thank you to Lumumba. Remember, guys, if you have any issues with that thing that you took in your arm, that we're and once it can be proven, don't just be making up things, and you can show us what the doctor said. This is what came from your doctor, etc. We want to interview you, and we're planning to do a press conference about it. Okay, so let us know about that. All right. So God bless you all. God bless you all for coming tonight, and we will see you tomorrow night, Monday night at 7. God bless. Bye bye. Have a good
Good
night.
night.
Bye bye.